guys? Bobby Roast Beef here. We got Jigs and friggin' Bigs going on. We got one hell of a show this week. Hey, how about a big round of applause? We have a guest in the beef seat this way, and we got a doozy. One of the fishiest dudes I've found on YouTube. We've got Caleb Wistad with us. You might know him better as Hooked Up Wisconsin. He is a multi-species angler, all-around outdoorsman, and we have a really, really great conversation. He's got really good content out there, a lot of tips and stuff for you. We have all kinds of good conversation for you lined up later in the show, but we also, your boy had a week. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to catch up with who the fuck is Joe Brown. We've got headlines with us. We've got an amazing FTG out of Connecticut this week. We've got a couple of questions in the live well. Oh, and we're also diving into your 2D sonar. Played a role in my fishing outing this week, big time, and I realized that there's more capability there than we're giving it credit for. So if you want some tips and tricks on 2D sonar, stick around for the Just the Tip segment. Guys, we'll see you with more Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. 100%, man. 100%. Yep, that edible from last night is still kicking. I'm just sharing. You know, that's where I'm at right now. I almost went on the biggest high rate for that. I was like, we have a whole other show left to do. Joe, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I am fantastic, Bobby. Good. How are you today?
I'm doing A-okay, man. We got some jig heads in the house. The audience has been fluctuating, folks coming in and coming out. We had a good honestly a good 40-minute stint, but probably about a good 10-minute stint that got recorded of banter back and forth with the jig heads. So, jig heads, thanks for showing up on a Sunday morning. You know, I am very excited because number one, I did actually have a pretty damn good outing this week. I totally did not pull off what I intended to what I said I was planning on last week, but we'll talk about that. And I got some stuff handled. Actually, a big step for the 300th episode party that's coming up in January. Big one, and let's just get this out of the way here, guys. Big deal is that tickets are available at jigsandbigs.com for our 300th episode party. It's going down on Saturday, January the 24th. It's over at Nathan Bill's Bar and Restaurant in Springfield. But we got details coming. I'm just waiting on the link. But we've got a lodging discount for anybody who's traveling to the area. So if you're coming to the palatial, city of homes, the city of Springfield, you don't have to, you don't have to look around or network with other folks necessarily or anything like that to, come on out. Plus, I'm trying to work out an event for the Friday night. So the discount is for Friday and for Saturday night. And I'm trying to work something out for Friday night, like a little advance hang. Dare I say maybe we'll play fishy trivia. That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Like the whole deal, fucking prizes, all kinds of shit. We'll have a good time. Maybe depending on the situation, we might even live stream that sucker and have folks play at home, if they wanted to. Just a little advance hang. I don't know. We'll figure it out. What do we got in the comments right here? Brandon says he's back on his BS. New rod in. Let's go. Nice. Congrats, homie. Says 300th episode. I took days off, my boy. I'm be up there the whole weekend. Beautiful, dude. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. How was your week, Joe?
Dude, my week was good. Yeah. I mean, not terribly, fishy. Mm-hmm. I did go out the after we recorded this past Sunday, just for a couple hours, quick little outing. Mm-hmm. And I remember the conversation we had where it was like, oh, it was so windy yesterday, but today it's calm. Oh, dude, I went out there and it was so fucking windy.
Really?
It was. Oh yeah, God, it was
that's
so,
right.
It was just,
it was windy on Sunday. Yeah.
So I was like, but whatever. But yeah, so got out there, the local spot by my house just to get onto a couple. I had some family shit I wanted to do later on the day. So I was like, you know what? Let me go out for 2 hours, grab snag a couple fish and get off the water. And that's what I did, dude. I went out there, got a couple, nothing of size. Dude, I'll be honest, what body of water I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And like this time of year when the bigger fish, because you and I both know that there's that's not a place that produces giants by any mean, but there's some decent sized fish there.
Decent sized fish in there.
Yeah. But dude, I'm still trying to figure out where the hell they go around this time of the year when they're like, all right, I'm going to start moving around, maybe move deeper or whatever. I don't know. Like that is my body of water, but this time of year, I'm not really sure where the hell they go. And I got to figure that out. What
was your water temp? Just curious on Sunday when you were out there. Ballpark.
It was, if I remember correctly, it was like 51, 52.
Okay. Yeah.
So that, they're still around. And, so I was hoping, where I got them was, I kind of went to the flats that I know that I knew the sun was kind of beating on a little bit. And, that water temp might be a little bit higher, and grabbed a couple off a jerk bait there. I was using the Mega Bass Vision 110 Junior. That's like one of my go-tos this time of year, especially if I'm fishing in a body of water with smallmouth. But so I grabbed a couple off there, grabbed a nice crappie. And what else? Shit, I caught some. Oh, and I caught a couple on a big Joshy. The show color. Remember the show color from last year? Kind of looked like a crappie.
Yep.
Yeah, so I grabbed a couple off that, but nothing of size. Everything was kind of small, or smaller. But like I said, I was kind of on a time crunch, so I didn't put typically I'd be like, all right, let's kind of run the side scan, let's kind of see where these things might be, or the 2D, stuff like that.
Definitely.
But I just didn't have, I was impatient, and I just wanted to,
and that's sometimes that's the battle. It's not even you and the fish, it's you and the clock.
Yep.
And
dude, so I got a couple. I packed the boat back up and got home and just kind of chilled with the family that day. And then was it like typical friggin' work week, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, it's always.
You know how it is.
Yep.
And then dude, so I know we kind of mentioned it. So I believe I was at work, and like kind of an idea came to my head of like, because obviously I'm a big like bitchy ass baby. Like when my thumb like was fucked up, like all of a sudden I'm not like going on social media as much because I'm being a big whine ass. And I was like, all right, I'm back. I gotta start getting back in the socials and stuff like that.
I think I know where this is going.
What can I do?
Yep.
What can I do to kind of try to, and like, an idea came to me, and I was like,
yes, it did.
I'm going to do some bass fishing tips, but not actually, but more like comedic.
Yes.
To where they're not actually bass fishing tips. They're just kind of funny, I mean, they are kind of bass fishing tips, but they're just kind of funny. So dude, so I just been like started like writing shit down and like ideas, and then like kind of putting them together in words, and I've been throwing them on and it's funny because like it's like I put it like I put a number, like literally those numbers, bass fishing tip number, dude, I make up that number right as I start. I just like make up a random number.
Oh, that's perfect, dude. I love this. I love it. I have feedback.
So I just do that. That was a good idea. That was an idea I came up with that I liked, and it's been doing pretty well on like Instagram and stuff. The TikTok, it's been a little, but Instagram it took off pretty good. So I've been doing those bass fishing tips on. But again, like I said, they're just like kind of funny than anything, not really actual tips.
I think they're fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and then dude, yesterday, unfortunately this weekend I didn't get out. Well, we know the weather's been fucking trash the last couple days, but well, you got out yesterday, but we'll talk about that. But no, I didn't. I had to do some family stuff yesterday. I had to go buy a new couch yesterday. It was time.
Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, it was time. We need a new couch, dude. It was like to the point where, dude, we had our couch for a long. I got 4 kids. I got 2 big ass dogs. Like, we got like 10 years out of that couch, which is pretty good.
These days, that's out of this world.
Right. And like, so Meg and I were upstairs, and we're kind of, up in the living room. We're kind of looking at it. And she's like, I want a new couch. I was like, yeah, we probably should. I was like, this is really starting to give off like trap house like vibes, like trap house couch vibes. You know what I mean?
That's great.
Like, dude, it's
that bad.
Like it's so no, it's really not. But
I was gonna say, like, is it one of these things where you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll just put it at the end of the driveway. Somebody will come and scoop it up, and it's there for like a month. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like one of those sectionals that's like has like power and stuff. Like, so it's like it reclines with like power and whatnot. And between the kids and the dogs and everything, like that stuff is starting to kind of like break and whatnot. So now that couch is just more fucking dangerous than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like it was what was it? It was a few weeks ago. Like I think it was like Emma was like putting up the feet on one of them, and then like I hear like a piece of like plastic break, and then all of a sudden it's like it like shoots out, and it's like now it's like sticking out straight, and it was like a dagger. Like, Jesus
no, that's awful, man.
So I'm like I rip it off, and I'm like, all right, well, it still works. I'm not even really sure what this thing was for, but yeah, dude, it's just like making crazy noises. Like there's one part got ripped recently. None of the kids are owning up to it, but yeah.
Sometimes that's just how it is, man. They don't build furniture like they did, and that statement makes me feel so old, but that is truth.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I remember when I was younger, I think we had the same fucking couch from the time I was born to, I think they got rid of it like fucking like 3 years ago, like 37 years.
My parents, when we moved, when I was like 10 or 11, right? When we moved into our new house, they redid the couch. Like it was reupholstered. It was the same couch I grew up with. Just reupholstered so it would match what they wanted to do. That's they gnarly. Intended on having that long. Yeah. Like I have taken naps on that couch as like a 20-something-year-old adult with my infant daughter, like with Chloe. Which I'm like, it is crazy. Like I'm like, they don't build it like that anymore.
No, and they don't.
I had that couch in my apartment when I moved out. Did I? No, I didn't. No, I never had that couch.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's kind of like, the philosophy we're looking at. I was like, well, we're not getting anything crazy because number one, like you said, like the expensive ones are built just as shitty as the cheap ones. It's just they have a different name on them that makes them more expensive.
Yep.
I was like, and two, I was like, the kids are still young, so they're still gonna fucking destroy it. The dogs are gonna like, we're that family that every time we get a dog, like when we got Draco. The like one big thing, we're like, all right, we really need to like not have the dogs on the couch, on the bed, or anything. And dude, that lasted fucking 2 weeks. That lasted two. It was when we got. I think I like came home late from a training or something like that, and I go into the bedroom and Meg's got him up on the bed sleeping. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm like, all right, so I guess that's out. But yeah, so the dogs go on the couch and they're big ass dogs.
Oh yeah. Even little dogs fuck shit up.
Yeah, but dude, like I'll have to send you a picture of it when it's coming Friday. It's actually like a pretty gnarly. It's like a buckskinned fabric they call it. It's like it's like a rustic brown, kind of goes with the rest of my living room.
Nice,
but I was actually kind of impressed. It was like but we went to Bob's Furniture, dude. It's like Bob's discount furniture where it's like they're cheaper. You know what I mean? But they're still fucking expensive, dude.
Oh yeah,
it was like
100%.
But yeah, so that's what we did yesterday. We went there and we went to Texas Roadhouse. I haven't been there in years.
Oh God.
I haven't been there in years. Yeah. That Texas Roadhouse butter is fucking insane. That shit is so good. That cinnamon butter or whatever.
I've heard.
Oh, you've never been?
So Bobby Roast Beef avoids chain restaurants stuff. As much as humanly possible. But like that's, I will say this, like every chain has like their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that place, I've heard that butter is the big deal. I probably have had it. I think actually during COVID, you may have had DoorDash it or something. Because then you just get sick of the same shit, but.
See, I'm the opposite. So when it's just Meg or I that go out, or Meg and I that go out, we don't go to chains. Like we but when I have the kids, dude, like
100%, there's a space for them. Yeah, I get
we had two of the kids. Actually I got another funny story. So we got two of the kids. We got Jackson and Emma, and Jackson and Emma are like fucking gasoline and fire, dude. They are like, they just constantly argue. Like, so I'm like, all right. I was like, they're probably going to embarrass us at one point because they're always fighting and arguing. So I was like, I'd rather get embarrassed at a chain restaurant than at like a nice one that I feel like I can't go back to because my kids are being assholes.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, there's a corporate entity that owns this. I don't get, you don't want to be here working.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's like,
fair.
it was like,
That's
you
fair.
know, so a couple margaritas later, I was like, whatever. I don't care if you guys start doing backflips on the table, like have at it. But yeah, so we go there, and that was like right before. So Jeremiah, the other twin, dude, he did something. He kind of, you know, they're 11. He did something he never done before. He went to like hang out with a girl for her birthday party.
Whoa! Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. So it was like a kid. So wicked funny. He's like. And she's from Auburn, dude. Like, so it's like kind of a clip away from us, you know?
Oh yeah. It's
and
not close.
his friend plays hockey, and there's like a hockey rink in Auburn that he'll go, like, he does. Jeremiah doesn't play hockey, but he'll go like to his friends' hockey games and stuff. And so I guess he met this girl there. So he's like, yeah, she's having a birthday party at like level 99, which is someplace out in like Eastern Mass, on like our big arcade fucking thing or whatever. I was like, we're like, yeah, cool, man. And like, long story short, we pull up, dude. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna ride with them, because I was like, yeah, you are, because I'm not bringing you all the way out to fucking Marlboro, dude. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So, dude, I go there. We drop him off. Parents are super nice. I look over. It's Jeremiah and like 6 girls.
Oh
dude.
yeah, 100%.
I'm like, Meg. I go to Meg. I'm like, is there any dudes going? She's like, I don't know. Like, maybe not. And like, dude, it was so like, he walks up to the girls, and like instantly just awkwardness. Like, he's just like sitting there with his like hands in his pocket. Like, no one's talking to each other. I'm like, Meg, we need to get the fuck out of here. I was like, I'm like getting anxiety from watching how like awkward and uncomfortable this is. Like, we need to get out of here so he can learn this lesson on his own.
Yeah. Some things are better left, you know?
Yeah. So he went there. He said he had a good time. He's like, no, there was like, I met a couple other kids there that I hung out with, and I hung out with her dad. I was like, so you didn't hang out with the girl that you want? He's like, no, not really. I was like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, all right. But yeah, so that was funny. And that was pretty much it, man. And then today's gonna be a chill day because the weather's fucking trash. And
yeah, I was looking at it. It's not great. I left the boat hooked up because I'm considering. I learned something yesterday, timing wise, that is great about this time of year. But yeah, I've still got it hooked up. I might send it. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. Yeah. Something about just hanging out in my jammies, drinking coffee all day, and I'm editing a pretty solid video too. So I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, I got a couple more of those tips to because I just do like a bunch of them all at once. So.
I have a theory about those tips.
Okay.
My thought was I was watching them last night. Yes. Post date night last night. So like I was full of amazing beer and a couple of edibles, and it was just, so I'm watching them. I'm like, this is so good. But I have a theory. Did you start drinking and then record like a bunch of them all at once? Because I feel like you maybe get a little bit more progressively looser as they go, a little bit more, and it's awesome. Like, I think it's great. But in my mind, I'm like, I could see you being like, hey, Meg, I'm going to kill this sixer, and then I'm going to go in the garage and make some content, and then coming back up.
So the ones where I'm in the gray sweatshirt where I have the beers,
Okay.
Like, dude, the one where I'm talking about the moon phase, I'm like burping. And
yes, dude. I was like, it is fucking perfect, man. Seriously, I was like, this is fucking genius. This is fantastic shit.
Yep. So it's just like, I've been having fun with it, man.
It's what it's all about, man. I think it's fucking great, dude. My week actually started slightly fishy. After we recorded the show, I did go out for a couple of hours and bank fish for a little bit until the sun went down. Then I came back home and then went back out to work. I had mentioned last week, I put in an order with HH Customs, a bunch of finesse jigs from them. I got some from Dark Horse. I ordered some PWR XTs that are great. Was throwing one around yesterday. I think I found another really good pairing for those, and details forthcoming. And I also picked up a bunch of the micro koosh ball jigs, the V2s, and I just wanted to kind of like flip one of those around and see what we can come up with. And I managed to pick up a small pickerel. You know, I'm like, hey, it's a fish this week. I kind of needed this. It's been a little bit of a struggle. And my goal last week was to go out a bunch. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stack the back end of the week. Because I knew we were getting rain, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm like, yeah, you know, we had some really cold days. And it's getting to be a little bit too cold to have Eleanor out there with me. I got to get her like something to put on, like on top of just having a blanket. Because with the wind, man, especially, like it is frigid. So that's going to change some stuff. Now, I got a bunch of stuff done on Monday. I still have to I'll be doing payouts this week for not the slot limit series, for the scavenger hunt. That's all set. Well, let's go ahead and discuss whose payouts are coming to them, because the scoreboard or the leaderboard looks like this. So we've got 7th place Kevin Mahoney. We've got John Higgins at 6 points in 6th place. We have Nathan Grant and myself tied at 7 points each. I believe I have just a click more total inches in there. We have a tie that was in 2nd place, John Thompson and Eric Miller. Eric Miller got actually, I take that back, not in 2nd place. We had a 3-way tie in 1st place at 9 points. Eric Miller initially did have 10 that was in there, but he submitted a carp, and it was not a carp. It was a fall fish. So that was DQ'd. He lost a point there. But so that puts Eric Miller still has the maximum amount of inches. So he is our 1st place winner. Todd Sefton has the next largest amount of total inches, and Todd is in 2nd place, and John Thompson is holding in 3rd right there. So our 1st and 2nd place teams this week will catch a check because we did not exceed 10 anglers in the tournament, but payouts will be going out this week. We got all that stuff squared away. Everybody's going to get paid, and everybody's going to have themselves a great life. So I got that done. I also had been playing phone tag with the butcher regarding a little bit of a benefit for those coming out to the 300th episode, and it is a hotel discount link. So if you're coming in and you're traveling and you need a place to stay, we've kind of got a little bit of savings that we can offer you guys at a local hotel. It's actually in a really good spot, and I'm going to give you full details and everything once I actually have the link to be able to post. I wanted to put it in this podcast, but I don't know that I'm going to get it from the butcher in time, so that'll be all set. He also told me that he's putting in a prize too for the giveaway. And I'm like, no shit, that's awesome. I believe he said it was a Douglas, I think it's a swim bait rod. I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think it's a Douglas swim bait rod. So I don't know if we're going to do it as like part of the door prize. Maybe that'll be what we do. We just include it as that because it's going to be there in person. And maybe that'll be the way that we do it. Otherwise, we're going to have to do a shipping. A shipping rod sucks. You know, nobody wants to do that, especially like a swim bait rod that's like an 8-footer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Door prize is probably the way to go.
That might be the way to do it. That way somebody can take it and do what they want, you know? So yeah, there's that. Awesome. Thank you to the butcher and Mrs. Butcher. Something tells me she was, you need to do something with this gear you're not using. I have a feeling. Keep on them, Nicole. Keep on them. Anyway, we also this week had gotten some stuff done with. I recorded that interview earlier this week, which is really good. You guys are going to love this. This interview with Caleb that's coming up. If you haven't watched Hooked Up Wisconsin, I highly recommend that you do. Great stuff. I didn't realize how like really kind of a part of the fishing industry Caleb is. Like, I believe it's called the Predator. It's a type of fishing tip-up from clam. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah. Yep.
He's one of the designers for it.
Oh, no shit.
I didn't realize that. And we were talking. I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. And it's really great because we start all of our interviews with a little bit of like a catch us up, on how did you get to the point where you are? Like, walk us through your story with the outdoors, kind of an origin story. And he was like, it's funny, I'm doing a video right now. I've been putting out all this content. I don't think I've ever done anything like this. And he just put it out. He goes into even further detail with it. And in that video, they show it. I was like, I've seen that before. That's crazy, man. Like, he has fished with Al Lindner before, and for a Midwest guy,
yeah.
That's the guy, everybody knows Al Lindner. And just very, very cool. We have a real good conversation. He's a really, really cool guy. And we have a really good sort of rabbit hole discussion about lake trout, which is pretty good. Talking about favorite species, and it was a good convo. But I was, again, we got to like that midweek. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm launching a late Thursday night trivia event weekly, so that's had a lot going on. So I meant to get out Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. I ended up only going out on Saturday this week. Basically, Friday came around, and Friday was just bitter cold. And I realized something. I made a post on Instagram, and I was talking about motivation. This is the time of year I struggle with motivation to do anything. You know what I mean? I feel like my spirit animal is like some kind of a bear, either a grizzly bear or a black bear, or any type of an animal that hibernates, truly hibernates. You know what I mean? Because I could live my life like that. I would be okay with that, just sleep the entire winter, get up and, because I am over winter, all of it. And we were talking before we actually started recording the show with some of the jig heads, like Binya and Todd, they both have snow. As we record this, they have snow in their backyards, which is insane to me. And I'm really afraid of that. But I did mention in the conversation before we started recording that I'm just glad that this winter is super busy. I've got a million things going on, going up more than just the holidays, right before the holidays. And then through all that, we got the 300th show. We've got Columbus immediately the next weekend after. February's going to suck because I don't have a lot going on. And part of what I did this week was look into some winter camping options, and I'm struggling because around here, what I'm finding is a lot of, and I'm talking about, when I say around here, I'm talking about from Pennsylvania to Maine. I can't find a primitive camp area where I will like a state park or something where I will pay for the site, whatever, where I can truck camp. If I want to walk in and set up with a tent, I can do that. In some states, I can do it for free, like in Vermont. Or like in Mass, there are winter camping options because I want to do some cooking videos, and that's perfect. You know what I mean? I'll be at a site. I can set everything up, make all the content and everything. I think that would be great. But I'm there's these cabins that are in a handful of state parks in Mass. Dude, I tried to book as far out as March, totally reserved every single weekend. And you
really?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. So this is just something I have to think of way in the future if I'm going to set it up. Because I was like, oh, dude, if I have a cabin with a wood stove and stuff, imagine the B-roll I could create with that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing a cooking video, that would be insane. So there's some stuff I got to play around with that, but there are alternatives. I do use some apps sometimes. And if I'm going into an area where there's open water, this is the big thing. I want to bring the boat,
Okay.
If I'm going to an area where there's the opportunity to fish is there. So it's I'm not necessarily looking to off-road in the winter with possible snow-covered trails and my boat trailer.
Right.
I'll do it in a 4Runner all day long. That's fine. You know what I mean? I'll make it work. Hold on. We got some info coming here. Brandon says 60 in dirty Jersey. Jersey by the Delaware, Maryland. Oh, I thought he was suggesting places to camp. Maryland wouldn't be terrible to camp.
No,
it's not freeze too bad down there, and that's reasonable drive. Anyway,
did you check Conway, New Hampshire, and those type areas?
I did.
Shit?
There are some spots up there. A lot of
Saco.
them. I and that's the thing. If I'm just straight winter camping, I know I could go and disperse camp at a trailhead. That's something a lot of people don't know. Overnight, sleeping in your vehicle, truck camping, car camping is totally generally accepted at most trailheads. It's generally not a problem, and. You get down there and it's like if I would feel terrible setting up with my bougie ass setup, not the sleeping quarters. That's nothing. That's all contained. But like the area where I'm going to cook and have cameras and lights and shit going. And so I don't know. I got to fuck around with that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, those are places to camp, Brandon. He says, I'll go with you. All right, man. We'll fucking make some shit happen. Be cold. That's cold weather tent camping, man. Wow. It is. That's how you get to know somebody. You know what I mean? It's true. It's true. And then that brings us to going out and fishing yesterday. So I had gone out. I was torn. Initially, I had hit because like I'm like I haven't gone fishing like with somebody in a minute. You know, I'm like. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's been a week, actually. I take that back. But I was like, I want to mix it up, you know? And I was looking at a list of videos that I have, like video ideas on this note that I have written. And I was looking for some different stuff, and I was throwing some ideas around. And essentially, I was just like, there's one thing that I kind of want to do is talk about like goals for 2026, like stuff that I want to focus on. And one of those things is I'm going to do what I can to catch a 40-plus inch pike. You know, I just love to catch one of these suckers. I do want to get a set of jaw spreaders. I think that might help in as far as the maintenance and the appropriate net to do so. But in the meantime, like I'm still chasing them. And because if I ever caught one out there anyway, I would just have to deal with it, you know. So that's kind of one of my things. So I ended up over at Oxbow. I was like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to send this sucker. And we had some decent wind. Good cloud cover kind of early. It was a light wind, but it was direction wise, it was favorable. And I decided to look into this one spot, and I started actually fishing this one bank where there's a creek that kind of comes in, and I started, you know, most obnoxious presentation and just worked my way down, more subtle, moving baits, you know, and something happened there, Joe, that was kind of amazing. First off, I was like, I have fished so much of this bank already, and I haven't so much as even had a sniff at what's going at my presentation. Maybe. Given the direction of the wind, I should change and fish this bank as it's the wind-blown bank. You know, let's just motor over there, cut off all this other stuff. I can always come back and pick up where I left off if I need to, but let's go and fish that wind-blown bank. Like I wasn't even thinking about it initially. So I get down there and I'm like, I see the wind just pushing right up against this one spot, and I start making my way around. And I was throwing a moving bait with it was actually one of the PWR finesse jigs as a backup. And I'm kind of covering this area, and I noticed something on my 2D sonar, a wad of bait, which is exactly what I was kind of looking for. And there was a good sized drop off right off of the bank there, and probably in like about maybe 10 foot of water, like total is 15, 17 foot depth. But in that like 10 foot window, there was just a big ball of bait. So I was like, I am just going to like kind of feather my trolling motor to sort of like allow drift almost over here. Just keep this position the same and just kind of drift my way over. And I saw that group of bait wasn't really like moving a whole lot. Like it wasn't obviously moving live, but it's not like I went over it, then it disappeared. You know what I mean? Like I was able to kind of comb the area, and I'll go, all right, okay. So I go and I make a cast back over, and then I motor back around, and I start just fishing from where I saw that down. It was like my second cast, and I hooked into an 18 1/4. Large.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful fish. And finesse swim bait, as you do, as I do, it seems. And this was a real good fish, and I needed this. I needed this fish so bad. You ever catch a decent fish after it's been a grind, and you can literally feel the endorphins just like melt all over your body? Like you can. It's literally like you're just like, it's like when you have a shot of whiskey and you feel the warmth. It's like that.
That's great, because that's like that also is like textbook fall fishing technique too.
100%. And that's part of the reason why I was like, for just the tip, I did a little bit of research. We're going to talk about utilizing your 2D sonar, because I feel like, you know, I mean, just electronics in general are a big buzz topic, but I feel like the more simpler technology often gets written off, and a lot of people, you know, necessarily don't look at, but so what I should say, a lot of people don't look at the full capability. I for sure haven't been. So I did a little bit of a deep dive, and I picked up some tips and organized some stuff all together that I want to kind of apply on my own. But I will say, 2 casts later hooked into a 17 1/4. fishing that same method.
Same bait.
Same bait. Yep. 100%.
Yep.
We got a pattern, same bait, and just again, fishing that line. I was like, okay, so I have bait. It's about here. Bang. I could not find a bite over there. I fished the entire length of that bait, of that bank rather, all the way down, and then I kind of did a couple of laps off in deeper water to see what I could figure out. And then I was like, I'm gonna go over to where that sort of the sweet spot was, and I'm gonna fish it again. Basically, I fished those other couple of areas further in deeper water to allow some time for that to kind of reload or reset. Probably about 20 minutes or so. I come back around. I didn't get a bite. I go, I'm gonna cut my losses here and go out to the main river. We'll see what we can do for smallies. I caught 2 rat smallmouth down there, out in there, which was all good. There was a spot where I had wanted to fish again with this one bluff wall. Did not find any fish down there. Fished until about like 3:30 and then decided to call it because it was, like I said, date night was Saturday night. So we had a date night. My whole purpose, or the thing I will say that I've learned, is that now, like, I bitch about the sun going down so early now. Like, it's nonsense. It's like headline news out of my fucking mouth. It's all I talk about. I hate it. However, I will say this. Like, if I do go out today, I cannot be late for work because the sun goes down before I will need to be at work. So realistically, as long as I'm off the water by the time the sun goes down, I'm good. So I don't know. I might send it. I don't know. I'm not 100% yet.
Game time decision.
It is. That's exactly what it's going to be, man. That's 100% what it's going to be. So, yeah, it was a good weekend, man. I can't complain. Went out with the wife for date night. We did our typical date night, which was apps and beverages. Went out to the Dirty Truth in Northampton. And it's kind of funny, man. Like, my wife and I, we split an appetizer. We didn't even finish it.
Interesting.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. We're just like, whatever. But yeah, we had 2 couple of beers there. The main purpose of going out was because she wanted to hit up a dispensary so we could restock at the house, which we did. We bought some tasty treats. And one of those was this bar that I had last night. We started each with a 10 milligram piece. About 2 hours later, we're like, I don't know, maybe this isn't working. So we each had another one. And that's why I think where I'm at right now. It's probably about like 11 p.m. when I had the other one. I was like, gotcha. So yeah, it was a little bit nuts. But then we did our other favorite activity, which is grocery shopping. We got home because like we go out early. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was 6 p.m. Granted, it was dark and it felt like it was 10 p.m. But, we're out at like 6 p.m. having drinks. And I think, we were in and out of the dispensary pretty quick. And then Holly's just like, let's stop by and grab some groceries to save me a trip tomorrow. I was like, done deal, let's go.
Right.
But I picked up a few ingredients. One healthy habit I'm trying to make now is every week I'm going to cook up a giant batch of greens and just incorporate them in everything.
Okay.
Just a big batch of greens. I mean, it's you're talking to me. It's only going to be the healthiest it's going to be with me. But
sure,
you know what I mean? I'm looking to get more nutrients out of some greens. But it's been pretty damn good. We do have a headline for you this week, guys.
We do.
Yeah, we do. We do have a headline. Let's go ahead. We'll dive right in.
All right, so this is kind of a bummer of a story to have to report, but and unfortunately, it's not the first of its kind this year that we've talked about. But one person dead after boating crash on Norris Lake in Union County, Tennessee. One person is dead and 2 more are injured after a boating crash on Norris Lake Saturday morning. This past Saturday. On Sunday, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency identified the person who died as James Bailey, 25 years old, of Maynardville. The TWRA is investigating the crash that happened around 8:30 a.m. The agency said 2 vessels collided near the Highway 33 bridge. Wildlife officers reported that Bailey was alone on his vessel while 2 people were on the other. All were fishing in the same bass tournament.
Oh.
2 people were taken to UT Medical Center and have since been released, but Bailey was initially unaccounted for. TWRA said after a search, his body was recovered and he was not wearing a personal flotation device. And that's it. That's all the information on that thus far. But yeah, 2 bass boats colliding in a tournament. One is unfortunately no longer with us. The other 2 were treated and released. But I mean, every single tournament I've ever been in has required you to wear your personal flotation device. So not really sure what happened there. But you never know. You never know what could happen, Bobby.
You know, and that's the thing. It's so difficult. Like, and the part of it that just makes me scratch my head is that you have, you know, the organizations are gonna put in the rules that you're required to wear your PFD when you're, you know, on a run at all. Some of them, it's even like if the outboard is running, it needs to be on. I think.
That's what it was. When your main combustion engine is on, you have to have your PFD on.
But obviously, like when you're out there and you're competing in some of these vast areas, like people are going to make a decision or neglect, you know, obviously. But when the possible consequences, like losing your life, you know what I mean? You would think that this would be something people wouldn't necessarily brush off, but man, it's rough. And there is a part of this. It's just the way that it works where like we had this major story last spring where same kind of situation happened, you know, collision while a tournament was on the water. Somebody perishes from it. Because that's kind of gotten into the headline cycle, like you'll be hearing more about this, and it's not like it's an epidemic, and it's just that people are conscious about it, and it'll be you know a conversation that's going to be ongoing. So I would be ready.
Yeah, it unfortunately happens much more than you would expect,
for sure.
And I think due to that crash that happened on Smith Lake this year, there'll be more attention taken to accidents of this nature, unfortunately, but it does happen. And you know what? Don't look at it as it's just like a bass fishing or a bass boat.
No, it's not. It's
problem.
Just boats.
I mean, if you sit there and Google recreational boat accident deaths or whatever, I mean, it's your browser will just be flooded. You know what I mean? But obviously, we're a very niche group of people in the fishing or bass fishing world. So obviously, you know, those incidents kind of get singled out. So
yeah, that's brutal. That sucks, dude. This came across my way. I didn't know about this, but I guess consider this a little bonus headline. Not the greatest thing to have to report, but have you heard, Joe, that Massachusetts Kayak Bass and MAKB is no longer?
Oh yes, I just got word of that.
There was a post earlier this week on their Facebook group, basically where tournament director Ken Wood had said, "Listen, I have to make a difficult decision, and I'm going to basically shut down MAKB." And he cited reasons for health. Obviously, we hope everything is well over there. But Ken ran a fantastic organization and sort of, I think, set a standard in how online fishing tournaments really should be executed in a lot of ways. And I mean, he's done a lot of great stuff. So sad news. Sucks to see such a quality trail, you know, throw in the towel, but we get it. You know, I mean, these things, they have a very difficult decision to make, but obviously wishing Ken all the best and everything. Crazy crazy shit. Let's go ahead, guys. We're going to pivot here. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come right back. We got just the tip stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about that old technology, the 2D. Is it, you know, we'll talk about good ways, too, that you can make good use in the winter. We'll see. Don't go too far. Much more jigs and bigs goodness coming up right after this.
And perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or, ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Today, we have a good one for you in the Just the Tip segment. It's all about squeezing out every bit of juice out of your simple 2D sonar fish finder. I will say we hear a lot about forward-facing sonar and all kinds of crazy mapping, 360, all this stuff. And all those tools are really, really great. But every single fish finder that's out there, at least to my knowledge, at least contemporarily, has 2D sonar capability as well. And for a lot of folks, this is sort of the jumping point where they get into the electronics game on their kayak or on their boat. It's a good way. And a lot of folks will just say simply, oh yeah, I just kind of need depth and temperature. I have said it for the longest time, 100%. But the unit you're using is a lot more powerful than I think you might realize. So we'll talk about the details. Joe, I'm going to go through this, but if you have anything that you want to add in, interrupt me, please. By all means, jump in.
Will do.
You have, especially have way more experience when it comes to electronics. So I will say this. I looked into obviously it helps if your gear is calibrated the right way. So settings are a big one. Make sure that your sonar is actually going to give you all of the information that it can. So for sensitivity, you want to make the adjustment. I found a tip where it basically says turn up the sensitivity until the screen clutters and then back it off a little bit. Think of this as like when you adjust like your tension knob if you're using a bait caster with centrifugal brakes. You know, you tie on a different weight lure and you want to adjust that tension. You reel up, you tighten it up, and then you adjust lower until it starts moving. I like to go a little bit more because I like a loose spool. What can I say? So it's just adjust to your settings. Chart speed, match it to your boat. If it's a slow boat, slow scroll. If it's a fast boat, fast scroll. As far as filters, don't crank the noise rejection. If you filter it too much, it'll start to delete things that are in the water. Get all that dialed in, and really everything else gets a little bit clearer for you. And this is going to change with people. Like they might like things a certain different way. Just for your settings. It's like cooking, add salt and pepper to taste. Know what you're really looking at. 2D sonar is showing you a history of what the boat had just passed over. If you see full arches, that means that a fish stayed in the cone for a longer amount of time. If you see a half arch or a blob, it could still be a fish. It might also be just on the edge of the beam. Strong color or a thicker returns on those lines, that's hard bottom, or dense fish, like large fish. When people say like I've got some big fish down here, or it might be a carp or a catfish, that could be what they're using to get that information. And don't forget cone angle either. Even at only 20 feet of water, all you're seeing is a circle of about 7 to 10 feet wide. Fish could be just outside of that beam and you'd never know it. Using your setup, your 2D sonar setup for bottom hardness, and that in itself can help clue you in as to fish location. If you learn nothing else from your sonar, learn bottom composition. A hard bottom is going to have a thick, bright return. Softer bottom is going to be thin and dull. Hard bottom with clutter is going to be, rock, brush, or something. That's where you're going to see like some noise over the top there. Bass love transitions. Most of us know that. So that little shift from gravel to mud or clay or rock or whatever, 2D sonar can show that stuff beautifully. You just got to know what you're looking at. This is the one that I think appeals or is in line with exactly my usage this week of my my Garmin. Find the bait, find the bass. If you're not sure what you're seeing, look for bait clouds. And what those typically on 2D will look like is like a small blob or a smear somewhere in that mid-water column. If you see bait and if you see streaks that are moving through it, that's the juice. Fish aren't going to be far from food, so fish around that area. Use your 2D sonar for reading structure and cover. Even on the most simple unit, you can identify key stuff. Vegetation is going to look like this fuzzy, soft stuff that comes up from the bottom. Rock is going to be more chunky with jagged returns. Brush or timber is going to have hard peaks above the bottom, and little drops are just going to be those sudden bottom changes. Once you know the signatures, you don't really need mapping in the same way. The screen is going to tell you the story. And sonar works best on the right speed. Your best readings come between 2 and 6 miles per hour. Idle around structure, a dead stop, obviously for vertical presentation, and going too fast and everything just starts to smear and get distorted. You'll miss out on the good stuff. You can use your sonar to build patterns, not chase fish. Don't fall into that trap of chasing every single arch that you see. You learn how to use your sonar basically to know what the depth what depth your fish can be found in, what kind of structure they're relating to, whether or not bait is around, and how hard or soft the bottom is. Then run that pattern around the lake. That's how good anglers use simple sonar to find more fish than the guys with $10,000 electronics kits. Vertical fishing, 2D is king. Whether it's a drop shot, a spoon, a vertical jig, 2D sonar is still unbeatable. Max the chart speed, keep your bait under the transducer, and watch the fish rise or fall to your presentation. It's as close as you're going to get to real-time action without having forward-facing sonar. Final thought. Simple 2D sonar is not outdated at all. It's definitely a strong tool for reading bottom, finding bait, understanding depth, and identifying structure. The stuff that actually matters when you're trying to pattern fish. If you tune it right and you pay attention to what it's telling you, that basic unit then suddenly becomes one of the most valuable pieces of equipment on your boat. And I think that oftentimes that's what it is. I think folks get they kind of write off 2D. Sometimes.
Yeah, dude. I'm one of them. It's for me, it's 2D's. It is a great tool. It's a great source. Me personally, I tend to float more towards down scan.
Yeah.
And obviously, like when I'm looking for an area, I usually have, or when I'm just kind of mapping an area, so to say. Yep. I usually have my side scan, my down scan, and my maps going.
Now, this is going to seem very. I should actually look into this. But what is the difference between down scan versus 2D sonar?
So I don't know like the scientific basis or even the technical basis off of it. But it's like, so compare it to. It's just more of a clear, more realistic picture image, right? Of the structure of the bottom.
Yeah, because I've seen, like, I've got on my Lowrance unit, I have down scan.
Yeah,
and I've gone over before, and like you can almost see, like, if there's a bunch of hydrilla underneath you can actually like see it, and it's kind of wild. Right. It really is, but it's. I don't know. It's just
it's so like for me with the depth. So for the where you mentioned the bait.
Yep.
For me, like being able, I could see bait much better on like a down scan versus a 2D. Like it's much more.
I see what
it's
you mean.
much more obvious and pronounced that hey, that's bait.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's typically how I go about it. The 2D, like, but the thing is, and also you mentioned like how to set it up and whatnot. Yep. If you think you're having issues with your 2D, there is so many YouTube videos out there.
There are
of how to perfectly set up your 2D, your down scan, side scan, like 360, forward facing sonar. There's so many different videos out there. Yeah, that's what you just gotta go there, go on YouTube, and you'll learn how to set up your shit like perfect, like within 5 minutes.
See, I think my Lowrance unit is set up perfectly because I can idle around at like 4 or 5 miles an hour, look at and I get great visuals. It is fantastic. My Garmin, when I'm trolling, I think it's set for the wrong speed. I do. I think it is. I mean, I was still able to see like that. It's still, I mean, obviously effective. Like you can definitely see some stuff, but it just kind of cruises along real short. Like I very rarely ever see like arches. You know what I mean? Like I'll see a lot of like blobs and stuff, but yeah. So I think that speed might actually adjustment might help. I'll have to tinker with that. Maybe I'll do that today. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? I'm still trying to talk myself into fishing or not. But yeah, I would say there's a lot of folks, and again, this is one of the things where I was very much like, I want to go and I'm going to scan this lake and I'm going to do this. And I think that what a lot of people also don't realize is with, if you're scanning with 2D sonar, right, and you're aware of your depth and you kind of have an idea of like how big that cone is, right?
Sure.
A lot of folks don't realize this, and I sure as shit didn't. And like, I'm not going to do this in front of the boat, but I will, like, as I'm cruising from the console. When you find something, you mark something that looks really good and you're like, oh shit, there's a boulder there I never knew was there. I just went over it. If you just go and adjust on your map and set a waypoint right where that boulder is, it will not on the map, I'm talking about on the sonar, like drag the cursor over there. If you're fancy and have a touch screen, it's way easier. But like if you're a peasant like me and you have to, flip it over with the cursor, go over to that spot. It will stop scrolling. Move over to it, set a waypoint there. And that waypoint is going to coordinate with the map automatically. So and that is something that blew my mind when I was like, oh, wow, that's fucking amazing. Because, you might go over something that just looks super juicy and you're like, that looks like it might hold fish. And, based on whatever time of the year it is or however they're associating, like you might be looking for deep structure so that you can find them in the early spring, like ice out,
Yeah.
Some shit like that. And
that's right. That's what I love on my side scan, because I'm usually like 100 feet out on each side. It's the same thing. Like, if I see a transition 80 feet off to my right, I can just mark that and it's going to correlate with my map.
Then you go to that map later and you're like, holy shit. So I did mention in this, like there's tips for like winter. This is something great to do because oftentimes in the winter, the fishing gets super slow and it rolls right into the conversation. And that's the thing, Joe, your new batch of content inspired me to do this because I'm like, go and grab a couple of beverages, a hot cup of coffee, cruise around the boat, and is it going to be cold? Yeah. Bundle up for it, be ready for it, obviously. And just make the goal going and finding more structure that maybe you never knew was actually there.
And 100%.
Do it with your side scan, with your down scan unit, or do it with your 2D sonar rather. Everybody has the ability to do this. And if you do have a unit that's got mapping built into it, that's even better. Because now you can just build and save these things.
That's crazy. Because there's a body of water that I fish, a local one that dude, the body composition's absolute trash. But like it's like such like, and it's all like the same depth throughout. Like it's just like it produces big fish. It's where I caught my PB.
Yep.
But like the actual main lake portion is just hot garbage.
Yeah.
Except for one spot, dude, where there's just like this random tree that someone put in years ago, like that just like I'm guessing for the crappie fishing that I found a few years ago. And dude, I pulled so many good fish off that one spot. Like when I fish tournaments at this place, that's the first place I go, and I can usually grab one or two. That's where I caught a few years back. I was throwing one of Abe's jerk baits and caught 2 3-pounders at the same time on the same bait.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So it's so it's like you said. I kind of went off topic, but
no, it's perfect.
Yeah, just drive around, do your research because guess what? Like that body of water that you think you know every inch of it.
Yep.
I guarantee you there's something in there you never knew was there that a lot of people may not know that's there. And it's going to hold, if it's structure, it's going to hold fish, whether it's bass, pike, whatever. And
you can learn so much, you know what I mean? From an outing, if you just, take the opportunity to go and do that. And like this, when the fishing gets really slow and you're just like, man, this sucks, but hey, maybe, especially if you're one of those anglers where you're like, this is my only time that I'm able to get out. Like, that's a way to turn it into something productive. You know what I mean? And also a great time, like if you are struggling and you need to take a mental break, scan for a little bit, put some shit together. It'll take your mind off of whatever. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to figure it out later.
100%. I agree. Yeah. And that's something. And like, we both know it's easier said than done.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because all we want to do is keep ripping the baits into the water. But sometimes you gotta kind of do a reset, especially if you're having a tough time. Especially if it's a new body of water that you've never been to. You have to, especially new bodies of water. And this is something I'm terrible at, and I've gotten better the last couple of years. If you're looking at the topographical maps, like, I know that's something Bobby and I both do. that's only going to show you so much. You still have to do the research on the water. If you have electronics, use them to your benefit. Take, and that if you're going on a trip, take at least that first half hour and just be like, okay, according to the topo, it looks like this area is going to be good. So now let's start, doing our down scan, our 2D, our side scan. Let's see, kind of correlate it with the topographical, because guess what? They're not always correct, And so you have to do your own due diligence, your own research.
Exactly. And that's the other thing too. You might find that like there's something on the topo map that's like, you're just like, oh, fish are going to be over here. But maybe just adjacent to that, there's some cover that's like the transition that they need that's grabbing their attention. So getting out there and doing this. And this is one of the things I never had really considered before. And I'm like, I could have saved myself probably about an hour if I was like, looked at actually just when I got out to where I was going and said, instead of just going and starting and fishing, where's the wind blowing?
Yeah.
Right. What bank is getting that wind?
Yep.
And then scanning it.
Yep.
Just go over, motor over, get down there, take a look. And then go and give it a shot and say, okay, well, I saw a shitload of bait there, or I saw nothing at all on the way. That would definitely be a good idea.
Fishermen and bass fishermen in particular are impatient creatures.
We totally are.
So you kind of gotta step back for a moment and and just reconvene yourself.
Yeah, it is freaking wild. It really is. And there's so much that I think if you actually take a moment to like learn about your gear a little bit, you can go a long way with it. Let those benefits work for you. But
that's one of my goals for next season is try to get to know my electronics and my equipment a little bit better than I do now.
Yeah, no, I think that's because after this, I will say that since I put the electronics on the boat, 100%, like it's not something that I'm like relying on, but it's something that like it was weird. I started this year feeling really confident. I was like, I'm doing all this with no electronics. I'm catching them most times out. Like I wasn't really getting skunked a whole lot. And I'm like, that's a good feeling, But once I put the electronics on the boat and I started just kind of utilizing them when I've had questions of like, well, what's happening down here, or, I didn't realize that drop off was so significant, maybe that'll hold fish, something like that. Like, so there's certain shit that definitely comes in to help. We do have an FTG this week. We haven't had one of these in weeks.
I'm excited.
It's a good one. Let's go ahead. We'll dive in.
Hey guys, it is Kevin from Biohazard Bassin. I am currently on the lake in Connecticut. Any fisherman would have known that today, fucking amazing 60 degrees out here. But anyways, I got an FTG. This motherfucker, this is the best thing ever that could ever fucking happen. No one's on the lake. I don't know why, but it's just me at the meantime. And then I'm just fishing the shore and a little shallow. Just thought maybe the fish would be coming up a little shallow, get some sun. Anyways, this fucking pond prowler comes like within like 75 yards of me. And I'm like, what the fuck? This whole fucking lake is here. It's not a big lake. It's Crescent Lake in Southington. It's not a very fucking big lake. And it's close to my house. I just want to get out here. So I'm like, the whole fucking lake. You have the whole goddamn lake and you're less than 100 yards from me. I caught a fucking fish right then and there. I was like, fuck you, asshole. That on my spot. It was huge fucking pickerel. I caught a huge pickerel too right after that. So it was just like one after, and a huge sunfish, one after another after another. I'm like, fuck you. Get out of here, jackass. All right, that's my FTG. Later, guys.
I love that shit, dude. That's so fucking good.
Yep. Oh, we've all had that. I mean, look, I had that happen on the St. Lawrence this year, where I was smacking big ones, and all of a sudden this boat's fucking 10 yards from me.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was yesterday. I was fishing this one spot, this one laydown, and I was fishing there for a few minutes, and unfortunately, like I always pick these spots where there's heavy boat traffic.
Yeah.
Like where the structure is great, but like it might be super shallow everywhere else.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, motherfucker. Like one of these spots that I fish is because people come in there fucking hot. And I'm like, yeah, I should really fucking wear like an orange vest or some shit, like something.
Paint your boat orange, dude.
That's what I'm saying. My boat is black, and I generally am always wearing black. So you come around, and I haven't had any issues. Like, and luckily it's a straight area. Like, there's a lot of banks, so as they're coming up, they're able to see me. But yeah. It's just I'm very cautious when I'm over there. I'm like, if I hear an outboard, I'm like, let's keep an eye on what's up.
Yeah. There's a spot on the Connecticut River North, like outside of Barton's Cove, that I like to hit. And it's kind of the same way. It's like, it's right after a corner. And I'm just like,
I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yep. So I'm like, fuck. But yeah.
And that's the thing over there, especially, it's like so many pleasure boats too. Just come ripping on down. Dude. It's nuts.
The good thing is I do have that big ass orange stripe on my boat.
Yeah, that is kind of nice. That is nice. Man, that's freaking bananas, dude. That is crazy. But yeah, Kevin, there is no sweeter revenge to an FTG than just pulling a couple of fish out right in front of them. That's a good feeling right there. I love that shit, man. That's awesome. We do have some live well stuff, but before we get to that, we've got Caleb Wistad in the house, Hooked Up, Wisconsin. He's coming up right after this short break. You guys don't want to miss out. We got a great interview segment for you guys. We'll catch you guys on the live well afterwards. We'll be right back. Don't go too far. Alrighty, guys. Bobby Roast Beef here with, can you believe it? It's been a number of weeks since we've had a guest on the show, but this time, man, we got a good one for you guys. We've got Caleb Wistad here. You might be familiar with Caleb from his YouTube channel, Hooked Up Wisconsin. And he is when I use the term fishy folks around the show or on social media or anything like that, Caleb's the kind of guy I'm talking about. I mean, we've seen him catching, he's in the Midwest, so like obviously he's into walleye and stuff, but he's catch monster smallies, even big drum. He does some ice fishing, of course, because that time of year you got to. And he is an outdoorsman. Caleb, how you doing? Welcome to the show, buddy.
I am doing great. Doing great. How about yourself?
Awesome, man. I can't complain. Things are good around here. Although I will tell you, we're getting word from a lot of our listeners that like, oh yeah, season's wrapping up. We're gonna have to pack this up. But you and I are different. We don't do that. We just shift kind of what we're doing, right? Like when winter comes around, I like that. Before we get like really into any crazy conversation or anything, I like to always start with an origin story, just so everybody kind of has an idea of who I'm talking to, sort of how they got into this, and kind of like put everything in a nice little neat package for everybody, so that they kind of introduce our guests. So go ahead and walk us through the story of like how we got to where we are today, where you're creating content. Like, how did you initially fall in love with the outdoors? What was it? Was it fishing specifically, or was it something else?
Sure. Yeah, this is a great topic. I actually just filmed basically the same thing for my YouTube channel last week, and I'm working on editing it right now.
Oh, nice.
Kind of the story of Hooked Up Wisconsin and how it came to be. So I just told this story, so I should be able to tell it fairly well.
It's fresh. That's perfect.
It's fresh. Yeah. Basically, I grew up here. I've never moved more. I think the furthest I've moved from my home was maybe 10 miles. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
I live now 2 miles from where I grew up in Northwest Wisconsin.
Nice.
And never wanted to leave the area. It's just such an awesome area for anyone who likes the outdoors. It's literally the place that people from the Twin Cities and Chicago vacation.
Yep.
And the reason is we have thousands of lakes, low population, lots of public land.
Yep.
It's like a outdoor playground, basically. We've got the Great Lakes. We've got the Mississippi River on the other side of the state here. So it's pretty hard to beat when it comes to diversity and things you can do. So I grew up on a piece of land that had a pond and a creek flowing through it. 40 acres, and that grew to about 180 acres now.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
it was out my back door. I mean, from the age of probably 6, 7, 8, I could walk out my back door, and we had actually minnows down in the pond, and I would catch those on a rod and reel with a little piece of worm. Eventually, actually, the pond got deep enough and fish got into it from the creek, so we actually ended up having largemouth bass, pike,
Oh, wow.
crappies, bluegills,
Yep.
some big hybrid bluegills, green sunfish, bluegill hybrids in there. Nobody else even knew there was fish in it. So we had that
That's
all
the
to
best.
ourselves. So I would disappear in the canoe for hours, and I would just be hunting, fishing that property. And we didn't really buy any kind of meat. We were pretty much lived off the land as far as protein goes. I mean, we hunted as well. My dad was a big outdoorsman, so we hunted deer, so we had venison all the time.
Yep.
We never bought fish, I don't think, one time my entire life. Like, we caught our own fish. We would go on, my dad would go on trips, and I would go on some of them as well out west. So we'd shoot mule deer and elk, and we'd have that. And, I was also into trapping. So I trapped beaver, otter,
That's awesome.
mink, muskrat, all behind the house, and then I would skin them, sell the furs. So, like, that was just a way of life, It was a lifestyle, and it still is for me. I mean, that is who I am. I'm an outdoorsman. It's not a hobby at all.
Yeah.
It's all I know. So that's kind of how I grew up. And, growing up I had an awesome family. We actually, I was actually homeschooled all through high school. So I went to school one day, actually.
Really?
Public school one day. Yep. I went there because my mom wasn't sure if she could teach me algebra. Math wasn't her, forte.
Gotcha.
So she sent me to school, and I went one day and hung out with those kids in that classroom. And I'm like, I don't care what it takes. I will teach myself algebra. I ain't not coming back here.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Especially you have that freedom for so long.
Oh, the freedom. Yeah. And it was amazing because there's so much wasted time in school, like on the bus, between classes, eating lunch. Like, I could have my school done by noon every day.
Yeah,
easily.
exactly. That's the whole thing. You get all that stuff done, and then you've got the rest of the day to actually enrich your life. That's awesome.
It was an amazing way to grow up. So, in high school, I had all kinds of interests. I actually I was pretty into music. I still play keyboards, organs, piano, anything that has keys on it. I still play at our church every Sunday.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
still play in events and stuff sometimes. So that was a big part of my life as well. And then I actually got into taxidermy in high school.
Oh, wow. All right.
Taxidermy. So I taught myself taxidermy. So any of the stuff you see in my videos behind me, like the birds and the fish and the deer, I did all those.
Oh, you did
myself.
all of it?
Yep.
That's awesome, dude. That's great.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun. I actually did start a business and just late in high school and did taxidermy for clients.
Yep.
I did probably a few hundred mounts for people. And
no kidding.
I kind of realized that wasn't going to be a career that was sustainable. It's a tough way to make a living.
It is.
I knew some taxidermists, and I knew I'd be married to my shop if I ever went that route.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't want to be. So, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. I actually applied for college to go to school for land surveying because everyone told you then you have to go to school. Like, there was no option. That was the only way you were ever going to make it, right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I was going to take a year off of school and just hunt and fish and figure my life out, which I think was smart. And I think a lot of kids probably could benefit from that.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, instead of jumping right into college after high school. But
especially these days.
Yeah. And I started working for a plumber, got my plumber apprenticeship started. And I pretty quickly realized that it would be foolish for me to go to school for land surveying when I could pursue plumbing as a career and make money the whole time.
Yep.
In fact, I highly recommend that if, kids, young people these days, if you don't know what you want to do and you're willing to work,
pick up a trade.
Don't go to school, man.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Like, if you start plumbing as a trade now, the year out of high school, by the time you're 26, you could be a master plumber. You could be making as much as you want. You could start your own business.
Oh, yeah.
You would be $500,000 ahead of somebody who went into debt and went to college.
100%. 100%
Easily.
without all that. It's so funny you say this, Caleb, because my oldest daughter's 21, and when she graduated from high school, it was just after the pandemic. And actually during the pandemic, she was all like, "Oh, I'm not sure what I want to do for college." My guidance counselor thinks that the college experience is good for me. Now she's a lot like me. She was never really a strong student. Not meaning that she wasn't clever, but like sure, her study habits, like she wasn't built for school.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
I straight up just told her, I was like, I think your best bet is to take a year and do some soul searching. Find out what it is that you want to do. I was like, because I've seen people my own age where I would be like working back when I worked in television. I would see people that would be like even older than I was at that time coming into it. And that was like their second act. Like they're just like, they're just figuring out what they want to do. And it's like, if you can go that route and not create that much debt, you're saving yourself so much, but
I have a lot of friends my age. I'm almost 40. I have a lot of friends now who still aren't using their degrees and they're still paying off their college tuition.
It's nuts. And that's the thing. It's if you're not using that degree or you're just throwing it off to the side, it's just like, it is just not worthwhile. It's so hard to get that across to young folks because,
it is.
They know everything. They just know everything. But and trades aren't necessarily for everybody, but for a lot of folks can create a really great life for themselves getting into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the freedom is unparalleled.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
As you'll see here, and as I continue to tell my story, how this all worked out, I wouldn't have been able to do this without having a trade, probably most likely to make the jump into YouTube full time. Yeah. So anyway, going back a little bit, I got into the plumbing apprenticeship, started working as a plumber. I got married at 23. Basically my high school sweetheart. We never dated anybody else. Actually, we met in youth group at church and we just kind of knew that was that. Yep. And, we've been married 17 years now, but,
no kidding. Good for you. Congrats.
That's been an awesome story. Yeah. We've got 2 kids now. One's 12. He's a big outdoorsman too already. And in fact, we just shot a limit of ducks yesterday. He had the day off of school, so we went duck hunting.
I think I saw that picture on Instagram, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you guys. That's quite the haul.
So he loves it. He loves the outdoors. And so we've got a great family, and that all worked out really well too. And as my career kind of progressed, I worked through a bunch of different types of plumbing. I did residential new construction. I did commercial for a while, industrial, learned that side of it. Hated that. And the last 8 years of my career, I actually worked up in Duluth, Minnesota, and I helped to grow a plumbing service company, residential service company, from a 3-person shop to a $25 million business.
Oh, wow.
So I was in basically a general manager there for 4 years, and then I was in upper management the last 4 years doing all the training and customer service, bids, stuff like that.
Definitely.
And so that was a huge learning experience for me. And I actually learned some of my skills to be on camera there because I had to be up in front of a class teaching. So a lot of my teaching skills I actually learned there, training people how to deal with customers and how to go through a service call. And because I was terrible at speaking. I was not good at it. Yep. And that was never my thing, but I learned it. Yeah. And about 2019 was kind of when I started jumping into social media. And that was basically because my wife prompted me to do it. I had no interest in social media prior to maybe 2018. I had Facebook, but I never used it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And she said, all these people, she's watching these people on Instagram grow. And she's like, you take such good pictures. Why don't you just start posting them on an Instagram page just so people can see your stuff? And I'm like, oh, I don't think so. Social media is dumb. That's for young kids. I got other better things to do.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
But then I finally relented and I actually made a page called Hooked Up Wisconsin. That's where the name came from. It was my Instagram handle. And started posting pictures, started putting some captions with some fishing tips. Yep. And people started following me. I got some traction. A lot of people started following, and I was like, awesome. Well, this is pretty cool. And then I got brands started reaching out to me, sending me stuff to use and promote for them. And that's about the same time I went to an event put on by the Lindners and Linder Media. I'm sure you're familiar with the Lindners.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you fish anything in northern half of the country, you've probably heard of Al Lindner.
The Lindner family and in fishermen and all that.
In
Yeah,
fisherman, he started in
100%.
fisherman. Yeah, I mean, he's a legend.
He is,
Al's
100%.
a legend. The Lindner family is legendary. Lindner Media is legendary.
Yep.
So they put on an event, and I'm only 2 hours from their headquarters in Brainerd. So they put on an event called the Fishing Careers Workshop.
Yep.
And it was actually for people who wanted to get into the fishing industry as a career.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
They had a bunch of speakers like Jason Mitchell, Eric Hadia, the CEO of Johnson Outdoors.
Yep.
Dan, I can't remember his last name now, from St. Croix Rods was there. Like a bunch of industry people from different media outlets and different things. I think actually Brett from Target Walleye, I think, was one of the speakers. He had just started Target Walleye and had just blown up.
Nice.
So anyway, that kind of lit the fire in me. That, along with seeing the potential in, social media and my Instagram page, I was like, this media might be the avenue. That might be the way I get into the fishing industry, because I'd looked at guiding, and guiding is hard. Like, guiding is tough. It's tough to have a good family life when you're a guide. Your weekends are eaten up. You're dealing with schedules and weather, and it takes a lot of time to be a good guide. So I didn't really want to do that. Tournament fishing, as you know,
it's a gamble.
Worse.
Pun intended. Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. Like,
it is.
You never see your family. You're always living on, paycheck to paycheck, if you even make a paycheck.
Yep.
I mean,
you could have years where you make nothing.
Yeah. People don't realize that. They see the glamour of it, but tournament fishing is extremely hard way to make a living.
Yeah.
Very few people make it with a family on the other side.
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
So, that wasn't really an option for me. So I was like, well, I guess media might be it. That might be where I end up.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where it all started, was Instagram. And then
it's awesome. And your timing for Instagram, I think, was probably perfect too, because getting into it like 2018, 2019, that was like when, I don't know, there's just something magic about Instagram. Even as you got into the pandemic, like the growth potential was just so much higher. And I feel like so many people got jaded right now on Instagram. So many people have had their things slow down. So I think like you nailed it getting into it then. And
it was good timing.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
100%.
And what's happened to Instagram is it's gotten TikTokified. That's what I call it. It's basically just short videos now. And it's all algorithm based. It's all, you don't see your friends' stuff anymore. You see stuff that's going to keep you on the platform. And I don't like making that kind of content.
Yeah, so exactly.
I've just kind of kept Instagram up as a way to communicate with people and connect. It is good for that. Like the messaging aspect of Instagram is awesome. Like that's how you got a hold of me.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And it is still, I think it's my preferred platform, because I think that the engagement is a little bit better. I was just talking to my daughter this morning about Snap and TikTok. I'm like, I just feel like more so on TikTok, you can go on TikTok and like not engage with a human and just consume content, which if that's what you want, then that's great. But I was like, I feel like the comments and the DMs and the reactions, even on stories, like I do think that Instagram kind of has a little bit of an identity crisis, because I feel like they're sort of trying to be both Snapchat and TikTok at the same time. When in all actuality, I don't think they ever needed to be, No. So, but
and when I got on Instagram, it was a photo sharing platform.
It was,
still.
That was it. You weren't sharing.
So
videos.
For good photography was seen by a lot of people. And that was fun. It's tough to do that anymore. I mean, any photo, even if it's a good one, doesn't get a lot of attention.
Often it won't
now.
get seen. Yeah.
So anyway, you're right. It was good timing. And that kind of transitioned into Reels. So I started making Reels because Instagram was showing Reels more.
Yep.
And then people saw my Reels and they're like, hey, you're pretty good on camera. I think you should start a YouTube channel. I'm like, very funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was not anything that had ever crossed my mind. I've never been on camera. I was terrible on camera. As you can see, if you watch some of my early videos, it was not my thing. But I always was intrigued by the idea. I'd never done any editing. I'd never done anything like that, but I was like, shoot, I'll start filming. Why not? So I filmed the first video and put it on YouTube, and it was actually a burbot ice fishing video up on Lake Superior.
Oh, wow.
And that one did great. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do this for a year. Let's try this for a year. If I can get monetized in a year, that's going to be a pretty good sign that maybe this could be something I could do. So again, good timing. That was when YouTube was growing.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of just after the Guggen squad blew up, even during the end of that time. It was actually probably right dead in the middle of it. Yeah. So there still wasn't a lot of competition. There was enough, but it was a good time to get in there. And then I did get monetized like almost to the day a year later. I got my requirements met, got monetized. And then I started making money and I was like, what? This is crazy. I can't believe this. You know, it was so cool. And in the meantime, I was still working, still plumbing.
Yep.
And still fishing a lot. I mean, I fished every weekend. I didn't miss a single weekend or a single week of fishing for almost 6 years straight.
That's commendable. That's great.
Like, at least once a week. Even the week my kids were born, I fished somehow.
Oh my God, that's awesome. You've got an absolute champ for a spouse, man.
She's pretty good.
That's pretty awesome.
She's very, very good about letting me go. She knows that I have to. Keep my sanity.
Plus, like, you guys have been together so long, and this has been a part of your life for even longer than that. So, like, she probably made that adjustment early on and realized that, like, this is the way you live. Getting. Yeah. No, that's cool.
She likes the outdoors too. I mean, that's helps. What we did when we were dating. I mean, we would float the river and catch fish, or she would go goose hunting with us, or she used to hunt deer quite a bit too. She shot a couple big bucks, and she shot a bear second year we were married. So she's an outdoors person as well.
That's awesome.
She gets it,
Yeah.
So that was I just kept learning more and more about fishing, and I've always just been a consumer of fishing information. Yeah. Like, I feel like I've never forgotten a single thing I've read or heard about fishing since I was 6. Like, that information just sticks in my brain, and I can read about fishing, I can talk about fishing all day, and I never get tired of it. So
I'm similar. I'm the same way.
Yep. So that translated well into YouTube, because I was able to kind of start putting that information together and articulating it in a way that people could understand easily. And that's, again, a skill I learned in my last job, was to put things together very, very simply and easy to digest and understand. And that's kind of what took off on my channel. It was those kind of videos. It was not me being a star and going out and fishing and being a goofball. And it was not entertainment. It was education. Those were the videos that were standing out.
Oh yeah.
So as I started to grow the channel, that's what I leaned into, and I actually dug into the numbers after about 2 years of YouTube, and everything was pointing in that direction. Like, make these videos.
Yeah.
Even if the subject seems small and insignificant. People have questions about that stuff because a lot of people don't cover it because it's quote unquote boring.
Or it's the smallest niche specific subject. But what I think a lot of
people might touch on it, here and there, but they don't actually dive into it and so people understand why, the why behind it, right?
It's weird too. YouTube is such an interesting area because I only started getting into YouTube like a year ago. I was so, again, I have like no fear of editing anything. Like, it's what I did for 20 years. I worked in television. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So like, I was never concerned with that, but it was like, I'm not going to go and record a bunch of this stuff because, unlike you, where I've got this lifetime of experience to draw from, I fished through my childhood. And then once I got to about like middle or high school, it was right about high school, I put it down until I was in my 30s. Everything in the outdoors. I used to be really into archery, all kinds of stuff. And I just put it down because I had other stuff going on. I got really into music and all this other crap. And don't get me wrong, it was awesome. And I love those experiences, but I look back and I was like, now I got to play catch up. So I was like, I always joke and I say that when I was in my 30s, we bought the house and everything. And I was like, I need a hobby that's cheap.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a stupid mistake because I got a $30,000 expense in my driveway right now. But it is, it's just one of those things. Like you get into it and then you let it rip. But when I got into the content stuff, people forget YouTube is the second largest search engine on the internet.
Yep.
People don't just go there. It is a social platform, because there's the community and there's commenting and everything else. And there's obviously content to consume in a variety of ways now. But like people go there looking for something specific. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, man. And this is where I feel like I struggle with my channel. We can talk more about that later, but you can go ahead and pick up where you were.
Well, just real quick to touch on what you said. Not only is YouTube the second largest search engine, it's owned by Google.
Yeah.
Which is the largest search engine. And if you Google anything, what's the first thing you see?
You see YouTube links.
YouTube
100%.
videos.
Yeah.
That's where it sends you because the algorithm knows that these videos can explain it better by showing you how to do it.
Yeah, that's
true. Than any website page ever could. Mm-hmm. So like when a couple of my fillet tutorials blew up and took off, it was because they were ranking on the Google search. So they would be, well, they still are. If you Google how to fillet a northern pike, Google is going to show you my video.
That's how I found you. Because
really?
Yeah, it was. My father and we fish all the time, and I think he forgets that I've known him for my entire 48 years, because he's always telling me the story about when he went up to Champlain with his buddies, and they caught a giant northern pike, and the guy at the tackle shop was like, "I can show you how to fillet that," and he did it, and they fried it up right in the shop, and he's like, "It was absolutely delicious." And I've been getting more into pike fishing, and I was like, it's a good thing to know. I should look into that. And it was your video. I was like, this guy's awesome. That's how I found you.
Oh, that's awesome. But that's one of those things. It's like most people who have made videos on that just throw up a GoPro or have their buddy hold one. They're out on a picnic table under a tree in the shade with a bunch of newspaper, and it's a terrible video. There's terrible audio, there's wind noise. Like it's not done well.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to create this video from the perspective of the person filleting the fish, point of view, because that's the easiest way to follow it.
Oh,
right? It's not from across the table.
Yeah.
It's from your point of view. So I set the camera up with good lighting, made sure everything was clean, bled the fish out so it looked nice when I filleted it.
Yep.
You could see everything, and made sure I had good quality audio. And then I went super detailed, step by step. So I knew that if somebody watched that video, they could do it after they watched it, right? And it doesn't seem that complicated, but nobody digs into topics that much in the fishing world, it seems like. There's a lot of tutorials out there on other topics, but it seems like for whatever reason they're missing in the fishing space. Yep. So it was a pretty easy niche to fill. Once I started getting that formula down and realizing, okay, nobody's diving into stuff like this.
Yep.
So exactly like you did, like you found that video because it does a good job of getting you where you want to be, which is how to fillet a northern pike.
Exactly.
Bottom line, right? So that all kind of has come to me as I've made these videos and just watched the numbers. Like, where are the numbers leading this channel, basically? And they keep going that direction. Like, I know if I create a video where I go fishing and I do some kind of fishing challenge or something like that, I've got a core audience of about 5,000 to 6,000 that will watch that video and they'll love it. If I make a video that dives into the life cycle of a walleye and patterns and where they go at every season, what they eat, like 35, 40-minute video, it's going to get hundreds of thousands. I know it will.
Yeah.
Because it's just a different kind of video.
Yep.
And I make both because I still enjoy making the videos where I just go fishing and kind of cater to my core fans, right? Because I do have some.
Oh, definitely.
But to grow the channel and to get those big numbers, it's got to be educational.
No, it makes sense. That makes sense, man. And it's funny. I tried to do similar stuff with my channel. Like this year, again, like I'm taking the limited amount of experience and the things that I've learned recently, and I'm trying to adapt them. And it's so funny. You mentioned like guiding, and I had this idea that I wanted to offer like guide service, but I don't live in a part of the country where we have like destination fisheries or anything like that. But what we do have is a bunch of folks that maybe didn't grow up hunting and fishing or doing any of this outdoor stuff. So my thought was like, well, I got the boat, I've got all this gear, and I've got a little bit of know-how about some technique specific stuff. What if I offer up my services to bring people out on the water to give them that experience? And then I had a conversation with AJ Bodwin, who runs he has a guide service, a large kayak guide service in upstate New York called Battlefish Charters. And that evolved into Battlefish Academy, where he's actually got a college course through his alma mater where you can, it's sort of directed at veterans, so that it gives them a career path where they can be their own boss, and do their thing, which I think is absolutely awesome. We had him on and I was like, so is it, I go, do you find that there's space in there? He goes, homie, when it comes to like guiding, he's like, it can be as diverse and as wild. Like he told me this story about a group out of, I want to say Virginia or West Virginia, and their guide trips, they don't even fish. It's Bigfoot hunting.
Yep.
And he's like, people will go out, and he's like, and it's just for that experience. That's what they want. So I'm like, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear, man. Yeah.
No, guiding is a created experience
for sure.
And the fishing and the catching are part of it, of course.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
A good guide is creating an experience every single trip.
And
that's they know how to do it.
Yep.
Regardless of the weather, regardless of the fish activity, regardless of the success rate.
Yep.
The best guides create an experience every single time.
100%.
No question about it. And it's the same in any business. To do well, you have to create an experience. I don't care if it's plumbing.
Yeah.
To do good service plumbing in somebody's house and actually work with a customer, you have to create a good experience. And you have to know how to do it. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like drains are going to clog, and people are going to have issues. And if you want them to call you back, if you leave them knowing that they had a good experience, then you'll get that return phone call, or even better, the referral.
Yes. It's sadly, or not sadly, but just interestingly, almost all of that comes down to feelings, how 100%. That person felt when you left.
Yeah.
How, for a guide, for instance, if that person felt like they didn't get their money's worth, if they felt like you didn't try as hard as you could, if they felt like they got gypped out of time or opportunities, or if you didn't listen to them, if they felt like any of that, they aren't coming back.
Yeah, you'll never hear from them again, and they're never going to recommend you.
No, it has nothing to do with how many fish they caught.
Yeah, typically. It's true. That's a really good point.
Like if you do a great job at all those things and the fish don't cooperate, they'll still call you back and give you a second try.
Yeah, because that's the fish, and it's not you. If you put the effort in, that's good. But if you're just literally driving the boat around and you're like, yeah, okay, we'll go here. I guess we'll try this over here. Oh, it wasn't your day. If they're not buying it, yeah, you got to definitely leave them with a positive feeling.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. And so it's interesting going from a service business, because that's what I did, to media, because it's you still have to create an experience, but it's a very different way of doing it, because it's not as interpersonal. So it's more of a flow. You have to create a flow, and you have to create, something that gets somebody to where they want to be in a way that makes sense to them.
Yeah.
And it's very different, but I enjoy it. I mean, I love fishing most of all, but I also really enjoy video and editing and making something that I can be proud of. And that's why I still do all of it myself.
That's awesome.
I haven't hired anybody yet to help me with any of that, just because I just love it. I don't want to give it up.
Yeah, you get the control that way and everything else. And it's funny, like, you know, going back to like when you mentioned like in your Pike video, how you consider the perspective and the production and everything. It's amazing how a little bit of thought in those areas goes such a long way.
Oh, intentionality is everything. You find out once you do this for a while. If you go out and make a video without a plan, it's probably not going to do well unless something crazy happens and you happen to catch a giant fish or you know, fall out of your boat or like some viral moment happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Without a plan, good luck. You know, it's just, you have to have a plan. And the more I do this, the more I plan.
Yeah.
And the better things go. So yeah, so I guess that's kind of my long story of how I got to this point and how the channel kind of grew and awesome. How, you know, how Hooked Up Wisconsin became to be a full-time business because it is full-time now. I started full-time in April and
awesome.
it's the numbers were lining up. The timing was right. And I'm like, all right, I got to go for it. And so it's going really well.
That's awesome.
And I think I'm going to be able to do this for quite a while. The way it's looking. So barring any crazy, you know, fishing industry shakeups or anything like that, I think it's going to be viable for as long as I can make it work.
You know, and it's funny too. Like I hear this a lot from folks, like content creators, they make content for a variety of different reasons. You know what I mean? It could be something as simple as initially, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Debo. On YouTube. I had a conversation with Debo, this is years ago, and he was like, yeah, I only really got into YouTube like selfishly to like document my own fishing and sort of kind of go back through it, but there was a little bit of traction and people were kind of paying attention to what I was doing, and this was like early on. And I'm like, so like that's one reason to make content. Another reason to make content is obviously on the educational side. Sometimes it's just about entertaining people, like I try to bring that element into it, you know? And give people something to watch that's fishy so that if they can't get out there and fish, those are my favorite comments. And people are just like, you know, I haven't fished in years, or, you know, I'm so busy right now. Life is just crazy. It's nice to watch your stuff and see you out there having a good time just doing what you're doing. And that I think is fantastic. But I think the thing is, at the end of the day, there's this idea that folks, I think that creating content is like new, and it's definitely not. You know?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now,
look what Lindners were doing in the 60s,
exactly.
You know, 60s and 70s. I mean, they were doing what we're doing now. It's the same thing.
The Lindners, Babe Winkleman.
Yep.
I mean, geez, go into the bass world, and you've got Roland Martin, you've got Jimmy Houston, obviously Bill Dance, like a lot of these folks. The difference between then and now is the platform, and all it is technology. We see this stuff happen all the time. I mean, even before people had television shows and there was media that you could record and then put in retail markets for people to watch on their own devices or whatever at home, you had folks that worked for newspapers that were creating content.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the magazines, you know, all this stuff. So regardless of what it is, like all this stuff exists, and it's just that there's this, we happen to be living in this time frame where there's this shift where you have print media that is dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even television is dying at this point.
It's dying too. It is trying so hard to stay alive. And I put a couple of decades of my life into that industry, but I've seen it circling the drain, you know, and it's a different sort of beast. And then you've got the internet, which brings you so much different stuff. But just in there, you've got long form stuff. You've got short form stuff. You've got algorithms trying to feed you content based on what it thinks you're going to like. Who are some of your, I have a feeling where you're going to go with this, but who are some of your heroes, like your top, like 3, like fishy content heroes from whatever, anywhere in the genre, like, or in the spectrum?
Well, Al Linder's at the top.
Definitely.
I mean, I watched Al with awe as a kid.
You can't be a Midwest angler and not appreciate everything Al Linder's done.
Yes, exactly. Al was my hero, and all the Lindners, you know, too. There was a whole legacy there. But you know, Al kind of stood out, and then I honestly probably Doug Stange at In Fisherman. I watched him a lot too. He was great.
Yep.
He loved fishing, and I watched his stuff quite a bit. And on the bass side, Denny Brower was my absolute favorite.
Oh yeah, okay.
Denny Brower was I just loved the way he fished and kind of his attitude towards life.
Yep.
And you know, I'm a big faith guy, so
Yeah.
the fact that he had a strong faith and wasn't afraid to talk about it was important to me. And same with Al, you know. So that's
right.
Probably why those guys stuck a little bit more in my head. Because I think that takes a lot of courage to do that and integrate it into your business. It's not easy. So those are probably my top three, I guess. And it's all crazy how this all worked out, because at that retreat where I met Al for the first time, I just remember when he walked into the building and he was like standing right in front of me. It's like I shake his hand and I don't even know what happened, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, he's such a huge personality. He's one of those people that's just larger than life, and you can tell immediately. But then I actually wrote him a letter after that and told him that you know, I'd learned a lot there, and I was getting into the fishing industry, and I was trying to figure it out. And it was hard. And he ended up calling me and saying, hey, you know, I actually am looking at fishing up in Hayward, which is near my hometown this spring, and my boat's not ready yet. Do you want to go fishing? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Hello, that's awesome.
So I actually fished with Al for 2 days in my boat, my old 1996 Lund Pro V.
Holy cow, man.
It was insane. So here I am, my hero's fishing with me.
Yeah. You got to like pinch yourself and just be like, what is even happening?
He ate dinner at my house. I took him to breakfast. I mean, it was wild. And since then we've become friends. And
awesome,
you know, he's the one who has paved the way for me in some of this stuff, for sure. He's made some of these connections to brands for me. I mean, if Al gives you a recommendation, people listen.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, it's just, he's helped me a ton. I can't thank him enough for everything that he's done. I mean, he's the guy that got me really started off on the right foot, I would say. So to have your hero be that guy is just absolutely,
for sure,
a dream come true, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
And Al is one of those guys, they say never meet your heroes. Al is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
He's the same guy on TV as he is in person.
Yep.
An absolute legend and an absolute just great all around person.
That's awesome.
There's no one who has anything bad to say about Al that I know.
What an amazing experience, though, to be able to like live that couple of days and create a relationship with somebody that's taught you so much throughout the years, even passively through media and things like that. Like being able, like, that is awesome. What an opportunity, you know?
Oh yeah, it was definitely. I definitely feel like that was a divine meeting.
Yeah, that is great, man. That is really, really great. Now, what about, like, are there any current, like, I don't want to say like new school, like, content creators that you're like, this person's on my radar, I really like what they do?
Yeah, let me think. I mean, who have I been watching lately? Well, I mean, I've got a couple of friends, I would say, in the industry that I think are doing a great job. I mean, Nick Lindner, he kind of branched off from Lindner Media and he's doing his own thing now, but he's doing a good job of showing people how to catch walleyes and use technology. You know, I think honestly, Brett McComas, he's got some great stuff on walleyes as well with the Target walleye thing. He's doing some cool stuff there.
Yep.
As far as the ice world goes, you know, Jason Mitchell, he's been around for a long time, but he's still doing so much innovative stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is just an animal. He just never stops learning and showing people new stuff. And he's an innovator. And I think honestly that he is still at the top of his game in the ice fishing world and the fishing world in general. He's doing a great job. And there's so many people that I watch. Like, there's some guys in the bass side that are kind of they're getting real down to the niche type stuff.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm trying to think of some names right now, but I can't even think of names because I watch so many channels. It's hard to keep them all straight. But
that's the thing with me. I do. I just I've stopped. Like I subscribe to a lot of channels, but I very rarely go through that page. I usually just look at what is being suggested, and I kind of riff off of that. Like right now, my algorithm is sending me everything adventure chasing.
oh yeah, he does great stuff
Dude,
too.
Kyle's stuff is so good. I've tried to get him multiple times, but he's always on the road, so I don't think he's ever gotten my messages. But I'm like, damn,
dude, that guy gets around. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah.
That's,
I love watching him because he gets so excited too.
oh,
Like,
that's my favorite part.
He hooks a fish and he just goes ballistic every single time.
100%. Like it's almost like the first fish every time. And I relate to that. You know what I mean? Like regardless, I 100%, I can appreciate the enthusiasm. That's awesome.
And I love watching some of the Canadian guys too, like Jay Siemens. He does
his
great
stuff's
work.
great.
His camera work is incredible. His editing's incredible.
Production is out of this world with the stuff Siemens does. Great.
When it comes to production, he's one of the best.
Yep.
On YouTube.
100%.
And you know, some of the guys I used to love have kind of fallen off the map, like Aaron from Uncut Angling. Like I don't know what happened to him, but he kind of he was so popular for a while and he was making some huge hits.
Yep.
And then he just kind of went off the rails and got real weird about kind of pushing some people's buttons and like calling people out for weird stuff. And then he just kind of disappeared. Like that was kind of a bummer because he was actually one of my heroes too for a while. Like I thought he was awesome.
Yep.
And then he just kind of turned out to be a little strange.
Sometimes that's what happens with creating media. You know, it's like you get to a point where you're just like, you realize you have a platform and then there's like a filter where like, people start to, you're like, okay, maybe you're not as normal as I thought you were. You know what I mean?
I mean, anglers are weird in general.
Oh, yeah,
that's
we are.
One thing I figured out after being in the industry for a while.
Definitely.
This industry is full of misfits and oddballs.
Yeah,
and I love
100%.
it. Like, I think it's awesome.
No, I love it, man. I absolutely.
But you do get some characters every now and then that you got to deal with. But I think it's awesome because I feel like one of those people. I'm a little bit out there. I'm a little bit of an oddball.
Oh, for sure.
And I have no shame saying it.
I am curious. We've mentioned pike, we've mentioned walleye, we've mentioned burbot, we've mentioned bass.
Yep.
What's your like favorite species to target? Actually, I'm gonna complicate this even more.
Okay.
Put walleye in a separate category. Okay. Put walleye in a separate category. Aside from that, what's your favorite species to chase?
Even if you include walleye, it'd still be lake trout.
Lake trout. Oh, very nice.
Love fishing for lake trout.
Yeah,
and
okay.
You probably wouldn't know that by watching my channel because I only have a handful of lake trout videos.
Yep.
But the only reason I don't do a lot of lake trout fishing on the channel is because it's not an accessible fish for a lot of people. I was just going to go there because in Massachusetts where I'm at, there's two bodies of water where I can find lakers. One of them they're both reservoirs and they're both very strict. So one of them is bank fishing only, bank fishing exclusive, and there's giants in there. It's awesome. But they run it and they manage it in a very, very odd kind of way. And then on the other hand, there is another reservoir where they allow boat traffic, but you have to have there's a whole list of criteria that you have to meet for that boat to be used, or you have to rent their own. And their season for launching a boat is so ridiculously short overall that it's crazy. It's crazy. So you rent their boat. Fishing for a fish that typically lives in over 50 feet of water is a pretty wild concept. Way to manage it.
It really is. And the thing is about this spot, you can't ice fish it.
Because that is wild.
This season is April to December.
Okay.
It's right when things would start to freeze. Maybe it might even be late November, but
okay. That's one of the reasons is because for you or for a lot of people, even if you're in the middle of Wisconsin or middle of Minnesota, you might only have a couple options within a day trip of you that even have lake trout.
Oh yeah.
And then they're not that easy to find, and especially on some of those inland lakes.
Oh yeah.
So it's just not a high volume video. If I produce a lake trout video, I have some that have done well, but it's just people want to watch you catch walleyes. They want to learn how to catch walleyes. They want to learn how to catch panfish. They want to learn how to catch smallmouth or, bass.
Yep.
Trout are definitely down the list of popularity, but I love trout. I mean, there's nothing more aggressive than a lake trout chasing down a bait, especially ice fishing. I mean, ice fishing for lake trout is my favorite thing.
I'm sure it's insane.
They're so stinking aggressive. I mean, I'll never forget one time I was fishing 60 feet of water and I was working a big tube jig up towards the ice because a lot of times they'll cruise up high.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I just see a vapor trail on my flasher coming from the bottom. It covered 60 feet of water in like less than 2 seconds and crushed my bait right under my hole.
That fish
like
was
15-pound lake
That's
trout.
crazy.
Just flying. I mean, just about ripped the rod out of my hand when it hit.
See,
I saw it hit under the hole. Like it was that far up.
I've only ever caught 2 Lakers. One of them was up in Maine, and it was a relatively small one. It was, I think I measured it, came in, was in a multi-species scavenger hunt tournament at the time, and I think this one came in at like 16 inches. But the first Laker I ever caught it's funny, it was in the spring, and I was fishing a spot where there's just this, in that reservoir where it's bank fishing only, and there's like a 40 or a 50-foot hole. It's just like a bowl carved out. And I'm like, all right, yeah, we'll throw, I was throwing like half ounce like rattle traps.
Sure.
And I was there for smallmouth primarily. And I'm like, yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll make these long casts, we'll just burn this back, but I'll let it go down and I'll let it hit the bottom and see what happens. And it was like my third or fourth cast, this 17-inch Laker smoked that rattle trap, just smoked it. Took it so deep that it was not coming back. And like I said, this is like third or fourth, and I'm like, I'm not set up to harvest fish. I was bank fishing because that's all you can do there. I'm like, I'm just not set up to harvest fish. What the hell am I going to do? So I'm like, all right, I made a loop of just a stick that was pliable, and I ran it through its gills, bled the fish out, and then I just put a stake in the ground with another stick and put it around there. And I was like, I'm going to leave this here, right, in the water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it's still here when I get back, I'm going to pack it up, put it in a bag, stop and grab a styrofoam cooler on my way, because there was a gas station right around the corner. I'll grab that. I'll bring it home. He was delicious.
Oh, lake trout are tasty.
Trout are
fish.
great.
Yeah.
They used to be commercially fished in the Great Lakes. Yeah. Like, it's wild that.
Well, they still are in Lake Superior.
Oh, they are.
Yep. They have a commercial lake trout and whitefish fishery in Lake Superior still. There's
kidding.
only a few permits that are out there. I think there's like 9, commercial outfits on Lake Superior, but they do have a commercial harvest season there still.
No kidding. That's awesome. It's great to know, but I was floored. And then I started doing some research into them. I'm like, these fish get enormous.
Yeah,
like
they do.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Oh,
yeah. The biggest one I've caught through the ice was probably 16, 17 pounds, 30 some inch fish, 36 to 38 inch fish, something like that.
And just straight up muscle. There's so powerful at that point, Wow.
They are strong fish. Yeah. This year we actually were able to cast for them. They were up shallow over like a 30-foot reef, 40-foot reef. And we took live scope out there. We're like 24 miles out on Lake Superior on this reef. And it was insane. Just casting Rapala, Crush City, Mayer swim baits on half-ounce jig heads to, mid-30s lake trout. That was pretty fun.
It's crazy. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah. It's so funny too, because like my favorite style of trout fishing now, I've recently, last year? I took the leap into testing out what bait finesse fishing was all about. Because I am a multi-species angler. Like I love it all. I just love to chase them. I find that often the techniques I prefer or I like the most are artificial bass fishing techniques, most of them. And like, I'm getting a little older. Holding a spinning rod all day in my hand, it's especially like if I'm using like for like a jerk bait or anything like that, it just gets to be tedious. And like I've got tendonitis and it's ridiculous. So I got into it for that, and man, it has changed the way that I fish for trout. 100%.
I believe it.
Yeah, it is like it's so much like more efficient and like I absolutely love it. But I can get them to eat like those 2.5 inch, Crush City swim baits with no problem.
Yep.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, if you watch many of my videos or seen what I'm doing, like a paddle tail swim bait on a jig head is the only bait you need.
Yeah.
Like literally you can catch any species of fish on that anywhere, any time of year.
Yeah.
All you have to do is pick the right size swim bait, right tail on it, match it with the right jig head and weight for the depth you're fishing and the speed you want it to go.
Exactly.
And everything from trout to crappies to bluegills to perch to lake trout to saltwater species, big pike, muskies, largemouth, smallmouth, walleyes.
Smoke it.
Every single fish eats a paddle tail.
Yeah.
I mean, my last video, I caught 8 species of fish on paddle tail swim baits in 4.5 hours.
Yeah, that was insane. And actually, I'm glad you brought that video up because that is why I think. So one of the things we do here at Jigs and Bigs, Caleb, is we have a nationwide tournament trail. Have you dabbled at all in tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, I used to fish like a bass league that we fish tournaments every single week. We won that like 3 years in a row.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
My buddy and I fished some, open tournaments, never done great in them.
Yeah.
Definitely done some online ice fishing tournaments primarily, and I've placed in those. I don't know if I've done like a fish donkey style open water tournament.
Like an online one?
Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
Not yet, but I'm definitely open to the idea.
So one of the things that we've done, and we're actually considering expanding this into the future as far as like for ice fishermen, but also like we run them nationwide because instead of having like a local trail where we are just trying to like reach this one network, because we're a podcast and the primary audience here is in the lower 48. What we do is we have online tournaments, and this actually all started with a multi-species tournament. There was an organization that was trying to do these things online, and we were friendly with them, and we were like, well, let's enter it and try and utilize this. It'll provide content for what we're doing. We can talk about it, get some folks engaged, and it worked. But we took that platform and we sort of built on it. And for a while we were running it, and then this organization was kind of like they sort of lost interest in it. They're an overall outdoors organization. They're much more into some other activities. So this was kind of on the back burner, and we're like, hey, we're just going to back off and run with this. And they're like, okay, go for it, have fun. So we sort of perfected it. It's like 22 or 23 different species that are in the species that are on the list are the most popular game fish for the most part. And there's a couple of categories where we lump a bunch of stuff together, like sunfish. We just lump all those together. So all the bluegills, the long ears, everything else, like it's all together because we don't want to pick those apart. Same thing with carp right now.
It's almost impossible because there's so many hybrids.
The hybrids,
and everything.
It's nuts. So we've been fooling around with it, but there is talk about adding some other species. But the idea is that you have, and we used to run this as a monthly tournament, and we recently changed it just coming out of this year and going into next year. We're doing two opens and a championship, and there's one in the spring and one in the fall. The championship is going to double up on the weekend, so they're 7-day tournaments.
Okay.
All online. Catch as many of the species as you can, and you earn a point for each one. And then your total overall inches that you are, like if you're making upgrades, like we count those too, and that will break all the ties. So we'll look at it like that, and it's awesome because usually like the winners when we were doing the monthly, like you would get folks that would put maybe 13. I think the record might be 15 of the 23 because there's parts of the country where you're not going to find certain fish. Yeah, like blue cats, we don't have them around here. Hell, honestly, we don't have, the only catfish we really have are channel cats around locally.
Same here. We've got a few flatheads in reach, but no blues, and flatheads are few and far between in a lot of places.
And, there's a couple other ones too that are kind of tricky, but like we're considering adding more just to kind of keep things interesting and put some points in. And what we do is we changed it so now it's a 7-day platform. So it's all about time management. Now we found that it's easier for folks to take 7 days of their year and say, all right, I'm going to commit to this 1 week and I'm going to fish my tail off for the next 7 days and try and check off as many boxes as possible. Now we started in April of this year with the first open. And that was, I want to say that trip or that week. I think we only had 3 anglers in it. And we just completed one last week. We had 12. I'm sorry, not 12. We had 9. So the growth is there. Now, all you have to do is just enter one of the opens and you'll qualify for the championship. We're probably going to let that go for another year. And then we'll put some stricter, you have to place in like the top 5 in order to qualify for the championship. The championship is 48 hours.
Okay. So that's a grind.
Noon on Friday to noon on Sunday. And it's like, okay, what can you make happen? And this is where it's going to get so crazy. And we're going to do some other pop-ups. But I think like an angler like yourself that's really well-versed in what you're doing as far as not only the techniques, but also just the thought process of like, where am I going to find these fish? Where am I most likely to find these fish?
Every species has got its own thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's
crazy.
If you're just out fishing and hoping, you aren't going to do it. You have to change your techniques. You have to change your locations. You have to change everything to catch specifically a species at a time a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it helps to have like data to go back on and say like, I've done the best with this species at this place because they're abundant. And
I don't know. Did you have you seen the video I did 2 years ago where I caught 10 species on one lake in one day? I don't know if you've seen that. No, but
I'm going to go and search for it after.
Yeah, I can send you a link for that one. But I caught, that day was just a perfect day in June. And that was my goal. I was just going out to see how many species can I catch on this lake today. Well, actually, there was one other lake. There was 2 lakes I fished that day, but in one day. So
that's awesome.
I ended up with muskie, pike, largemouth, smallmouth, walleye, crappie, I got a gar that day.
Oh, man.
Which was kind of crazy. And long-nosed gar, that one really upped the count. Whitefish. And then I think I had walleye and maybe a rock bass or perch or something. I can't remember. But I caught my biggest muskie ever that day in that same video. 40, I think she was 48 and a half, just a tank. Actually caught 2 muskies that day. And it was I caught it all on video. It was an awesome video.
That's awesome.
So you'll want to see that one. But that's 10 fish species in probably 7 hours of fishing. And I can do that a lot of days out of the year. Within half an hour of my house.
You should,
like, if I really did a week, I can count right now. That's 10. I didn't have a perch that day. That's 11.
Yep.
I didn't have any trout species. I can get Browns Brooks easily. That's 13. Didn't have a lake trout. Didn't have a salmon. Those are pretty doable a lot of times. So that's 15. Didn't have any river species that day. So I didn't have drum. I didn't have suckers. I didn't have red horse.
Yep.
I didn't have catfish. Then I could potentially catch 20 species in 1 week within 2 hours of my house.
So the way that we break this down in the category is like, so we've got blue cats and bowfin, brook trout, brown trout, bullhead.
Oh yeah, bowfin, bullhead. Those 2 are pretty attainable too.
Yeah. Carp. We lump all the carp together. Channel cats, crappie, both black and white, one category. Flatheads, lakers, largemouth, pike, and muskie we put in one category.
Okay.
Pickerel. Then we got rainbow trout, rock bass. Rock bass gets its own category just because the sunfish category we have, the minimum is 6 inches. Everything else is an 8-inch minimum.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
we make rock bass a little bit more challenging to find those larger ones. Smallmouth, right? We have rock bass, smallmouth, snakehead, sunfish.
Which
That's
don't have
all of them.
here.
Tiger trout. Walleye and sauger and saweye we put all in one category.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, white perch and yellow perch.
Oh yeah, white perch and white. Do you have white bass in there yet?
Not yet. And that's actually, it's one of those, I think is it white or yellow bass? I have a guy in Ohio, John Hagens, who is just like, you want to talk about another, just one of the fishiest dudes I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. John is the man. He's big into like the catfish and carp fishing world. He's actually in the middle of an online catfish tournament right now, and I think it's the end of this week, and he's in like second place. But if he catches any significant, I think, flathead, he'll take the first place spot. I mean, he's into it, and he's like my species guru. So if I have a question about something, I'm like, hey man, what do you think about this? I'm like, I think this. We actually had a guy enter in the carp category. He entered a fall fish. Do you guys have fall fish up there?
Nope, no fall fish.
Oh
nope.
Man, so fall fish are an interesting fish.
They're cool.
They're the largest of the minnow family.
Yep.
And like a lot of people see the scale patterns and they're like, oh, that looks like a carp, and the mouth kind of looks like almost like a sucker style mouth.
Yep.
But they're like, there's no barbels or anything like that. So we had this guy had entered one. I got to actually go and DQ him because I don't think it's going to affect where his position on the board. Like I think he's still going to win by a couple of inches, but it's nuts. And we keep it really loose, but fun. And I think by getting rid of the monthly platform, this is actually going to work out even better for everybody. I love to see an angler like you jump in on it. Like, and we were talking about content creators. There's another multi-species content creator that I have been in their inbox going, you guys need to do this. It's Josh Pig Patrol, right? Yep. And
he'd be great for it.
He'd be amazing for it. But even better, even the guy that I worry about most, Nick from 618 Fishing.
Oh yeah,
he's a hammer.
He's got a lot of different water down there.
Oh, he really does. He's in a great part of the country. And it's crazy because like we hear from people in like specific pockets, like South Florida. We hear from people every single year. You guys need to add this. You need to add this. What about cichlids? What about this? And we're like, the majority, and I give them the line from Spock, the needs of many outweigh the needs of a few. I'm like, we're a nationwide tournament. We can't cater toward South Florida, but I would do a South Florida specific scavenger hunt.
That would be pretty cool.
You know, so if people wanted to go like, oh, this is going on in South Florida, all these waters are inbound, I'm going to travel, and then go for it. Like, do it in February. When people want a reason to go, like, go ahead. They've been asking for it. We just brought on a new tournament director. He's another online content creator, Binny Outdoors, longtime friend of the show. And he and I, he's like a brother from another mother. Like he and I, we've gone out. We actually just fished the St. Lawrence, and I feel like we are much more closer for it because it was horrendous when we were out there. we 3 days on one of the greatest smallmouth fisheries on the planet, and on the third day we were like, hey, let's go find any other lake where we might catch fish. That's what we ended up doing. It was one of those
St. Lawrence
days.
can be brutal. I mean, you watch some of the bass tournaments on it, they don't always go well.
No, well, and when we got back that third day, like we did it. It's funny you say that, like a challenge video earlier. We did what was we called it the Alabama Hot Bag Challenge. Have you ever heard of this? It's not even a fishing challenge. It's like a meme that I found. An Alabama hot bag is where you take a freezer bag, like a Ziploc bag, and you add cornstarch, 2 hard-boiled eggs, a full can of Vienna sausages and the juice, hot sauce, and then seeds like seeds, sunflower seeds. But I was like, the jury's still out. So we added both corn and peanuts, and you mash all the ingredients into a paste. Cut the corner of the bag and then feed it to yourself. Basically, it's ridiculous. I'm going to say it's not been going well. On the video's not doing great. I don't get anywhere near the numbers that you've got there, but even on my numbers, it's not doing great. I was kind of hoping to start a trend, but it's not happening.
It's not catching on. Huh?
No, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it exactly. But hey, we're getting there. One of the things I do want to talk about is your rig, your boat. So you're a Lund guy, much like myself.
Yep.
Walk us through your setup.
So I have a 2025 Impact, 1875 Impact XS, and it's designed for multi-species fishing. Yeah. I have it set up for multi-species fishing. Basically, it's on a roller trailer, so I can put it in anywhere. Yep. Like super shallow, doesn't matter. I can winch it on and off that thing. Yep. And it's set up for Lake Superior trolling. I've got rod trees for trolling boards. Yep. I've got a kicker motor. I've got rod holders. I've got downriggers. Like I'm set up to do that, but I'm also set up with, live scope and all the storage and rod lockers and everything that come on it I can keep, I think 18 rods in my boat.
Oh, wow.
In
Okay.
storage.
Yep.
Which is huge if you're a multi-species guy, because you got to have everything from, like on that day I caught 10 species of fish. I mean, I needed everything from a little tiny panfish, micro finesse rods, all the way up to my muskie rod, you know, for throwing every bait you can think of. So it's a really hard to beat that rig for multi-species fishing. Like I feel like I could take it on the Gulf of Mexico and I could catch redfish and snook and I could go offshore with it on a good day. That's how much trust I have in that boat.
Yeah.
But I could also put it on a 40-acre pond and back it off of a 2-foot deep landing.
Yep.
And catch bluegills and crappies. So super diverse boat, super reliable. Lund is an aluminum boat's an aluminum boat, but Lund has thought through their boat so well, all the details. It's a detailed boat.
Yeah.
They know fishermen. They are fishermen. I know a lot of the guys at Lund. I've worked with them at photo shoots. These guys,
they get it.
They get it.
Yeah.
And that's the way Lund was built. It was built for fishermen, by fishermen, and it is a fishing boat. So I guess, the reason I got in with Lund was actually one of my connections at Clam Outdoors.
Oh, all right.
Who happened to know one of the guys at Lund, and I mentioned I was looking for a boat sponsor possibly. And he's like, "Well, have you talked to Lund yet?" And I'm like, "Lund, yeah, they're too big. They would never.
They never do it. Yeah, exactly."
Well, I shouldn't have said that because I was wrong. They actually did.
That's awesome, man.
So I'm working with Lund now, which is pretty cool. And that all came about because of my connection with Al Lindner. He's who set me up with Clam. That's when we invented the Clam Predator tip up. We brought that idea to Al first, and he said I would go to Clam with it and see if they'll buy the idea from you.
Gotcha.
And he set up the meeting and everything. And so like I said, a lot of this goes back to Al and just his connections. So I can't take credit for all of it, but
still, that's awesome, man.
But Lund has been his brand, for since
forever.
it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Basically. So he's been promoting Lund for longer than I've been alive. So again, another legendary company, Midwest company that I get to work with. Same with St. Croix, Wisconsin company.
Oh yeah.
Great company as well. So I'm working with a lot of the companies that I grew up fishing with their stuff and watching on TV and watching winners promote, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's so great, dude. That is awesome. It's funny because, like I said, I've got like the baby brother of your boat. I've got a 1650 Angler.
Oh yeah, it's a great boat.
Love the platform, and I initially because like. I was looking around at some different boats, and like my co-host Joe we have totally different boats. His boat is I want to say it's a 20-foot Icon, or 22-foot Icon.
Oh yeah,
just a giant bass boat, beautiful machine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But he's a bass tournament guy. Yep. I'm like, I am looking to have something that is rugged as shit that I can go and drop into quite literally any body of water. And you've actually, when you mentioned the rollers, I recently went to go and fish. This is a couple weeks ago. In fact, I'm going to send you a video that I did just going over some of the mods that I put together on my boat recently, and the way I've kind of got things rigged up. And I'm specifically going at this from the approach of like, the novice boat, because I am a novice boat owner, but I'm not trying to buy like the latest and greatest gear. I'm using the stuff that I have. I'm doing it on a shoestring budget so that people can see the evolution overall. Sure. And I mentioned getting comments about people like, watching the content on the Jigs and Bigs YouTube. But the number one, like some of the best stuff I've had, people have reached out. My number one video is the day I bought the boat. when I brought it home. The number one most watched video. And it's one of those things where I like this platform is it's unbelievable. But you do have me thinking maybe I want to modify my trailer and throw rollers on it, because I was recently at a spot where the water, we're super shallow up here, especially we've gotten some pretty good rain over the last few weeks that have brought some water levels back up slightly. But this one spot that I went to, I just discovered it's not even in Massachusetts. And it was so low, I could not get the boat off the trailer. And I was like mid wheel on my rear, like my tailpipe was just about to go under the water. And I'm like, I'm looking to avoid that. Let's, because my fear was getting it back on. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
The rollers, I'm like, that might actually be the move. Like, but
it makes a huge difference.
I bet.
Now you have to treat it differently when you're loading and unloading, because you can no longer back that boat down on, disconnected from your trailer, unhooked.
Yeah, you got to leave it connected.
You've got to leave it hooked up, and then you've got to get down there and you've got to, it'll roll right off the trailer. So then you got to unhook it out in the water a lot of times, And what you're saying with loading, you can get it up to the trailer, but you can't drive it on. You have to winch it up. Because it won't stay. It'll just roll back up.
Yeah, it'll just roll. That's exactly it.
So you have to change the way that you load and unload.
Yeah.
But, it's a lot of guys will put a Drado hitch on there, and then you can drive it on and it clicks in. Right? I don't have one on mine, but that's an option if you want to go that route. But so you just have to alter your methods of launching. But it's much easier to get in and out of shallow water, even angled banks and stuff like that, uneven landings, anything like that. And I never worry about getting it back on, because I know I could literally winch that sucker off the ground if I had to onto a roller trailer.
Exactly.
Like it will roll on one way or another.
No, that definitely, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that might be the move, because I've seen a lot of them when I'm out there, and I'm just like, believe me, like I get the benefits of having a bunk trailer, know?
For sure.
But I've got one of my bunks right now is a little bit like compromised, and I'm like, I got to replace that anyway. I'm like, maybe I want to just put rollers on it.
Do you have carpet on your bunks?
No, I don't.
Okay, well that helps. At least it'll slide a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But,
it definitely.
Like I had carpeted bunks on my old boat, and you couldn't budge that thing.
It hugs them. That's the thing. Like I've had some situations before where I'll go and I can go and stand at the back of the boat and just kind of, I'm a big guy, so like it helps distribute the weight quite a bit. So I'm like, I can get it to move, and then I'll be like, all right, we're good. But yeah, you're right. I could definitely see where carpet would grab much more.
Oh yeah.
Definitely gonna.
But yeah, that was one of the things I made sure I had was rollers, because there's just so many lakes and stuff I couldn't even get into. I think with bunks around here, especially those little potholes and bad landings, and some of those have some of the best fishing because those guys with the big bass boats can't get into.
They're inaccessible. Exactly. It's a challenge to get there, and they have a whole other game plan for pressure. So
I do enjoy kayak fishing as well.
Oh yeah.
So I do have a fishing kayak, and once in a while I'll just drop that into some little lake that doesn't have a boat landing, and that's a blast too. Since I injured my Achilles tendon this summer, I haven't. That last video I made was actually a kayak video. Then that night I went and snapped my tendon.
Oh man.
And I haven't been out in the kayak since then, but next year I'm hoping to integrate a little bit more kayak content. So.
I'm in that same sort of boat as far as I started out kayak fishing. That's how I got off the bank. And the kayak that I'm in right now, it's a barge. It's an old Titan 13.5.
Oh yeah, it's a big kayak,
dude. It's huge. I love it. Like I've had it in the ocean, and I never went over. I probably should have. If I was in another kayak, I probably would have been soaked. This thing it's a barge. It's not great for rivers, and I definitely can't roof rack it on my 4Runner. There's no way. It's a 170-pound boat with all the stuff off. Yeah. So I'm like, so I trailer it everywhere that I go. But I haven't done anything this year in the kayak. And I think next spring, I'm going to make an effort to do at least one kayak trip a month and get out. There's one specific body of water right near me that I used to fish a lot, but it's not really conducive with my boat. I think it's actually would provide better content if I was in the yak. So I might fool around.
And
with
yeah,
that a little
kayak fishing is blown up in the last 5 years. Like it's gotten super popular.
Yeah, it really, and I think part of that is like the barrier of entry. But it's funny because like that's part of the reason why I looked into the boat that I bought, because I was like, you know, I looked around used. You know, I was like, I could buy a used boat for the amount of money of a brand new kayak. But I was like, the used market is just hot garbage. It is a dumpster fire of insanity. And like, I was just like, I think I kind of want to go with something that's got a warranty, you know, just a little something that's new. So I was like, I'm going to look bone stock. And it's funny because I had reached out to a couple of companies asking some questions, and it was Lund that was like, oh, you should talk to this specific retailer in your area, because there's a couple of them that are nearby me. So they were like, go and talk to these folks over here. It was over at Hank's Marine. So I went over and I talked to Matt over at Hank's Marine, and he was like, because initially I was like, I want to do this as much on a budget as I can. So I'm looking to buy outboard and the hull, like, and I'm not worried about any electronics, like that and a trolling motor. I was like, I need a trolling motor. That's pretty much all I'm looking for. So he was like, I think if you're looking to do content, he goes, don't buy the Rebel. He's like, look into the Angler, because it's got a wider beam, and for content usage, you'll thank yourself having more space.
Oh yeah,
he couldn't have been
camera
more
gear and figure out, you know, all your camera tripods and stuff like that. It's definitely nice to have more.
It really
more space.
It makes a big difference. It really, really does. And I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. So I made that choice.
If you don't follow Nicole Lynn, or Nicole, her name's Nicole King, but she's Nicole Lynn on Instagram. She is almost exclusively kayak fishing for muskies, and she just caught number 50 for the year.
For the year
out of her kayak this year. I mean, she's an absolute hammer. And all she does is musky fish basically from her kayak. Like unbelievable. You should definitely check her out. I don't think she has a YouTube channel, but she does a lot on Insta. And she's just one of those like fishy people, like you said. Talk about a fishy person. I mean, she catches them.
I'm gonna have to look her up and check that out, because that's the other thing too, man. I'm like, I kind of, like I said, I want to start getting more into pike fishing and targeting them, because they're amazing. My goal is I've never caught a pike that was like more than like 22 inches. So I'm looking to break a 40 for a pike, and I've had them on. You know, I've had them on. I was in the kayak one time and I was throwing around this tiny finesse jig, and I was looking for a smallie that just didn't want the swim bait I had thrown up there. Like, he comes up and he just kind of mouthed it and then took off. And I was like, well, let's change things up a little bit. So I went back to that spot after I caught the pike I needed for that scavenger hunt tournament. I went back over to that area and I was like, okay, so there's smallies here. Let's track them down. And I had a giant pike on, and I got him to the boat. I mean, this fight felt like it took 10 minutes. He pulled me into the weeds. I just let him run. I got him up to the side of the boat. And I mean, he was, like I said, I've got a 13-foot kayak. He was like a good chunk of the hull in front of the seat. And I'm like, this is great. And my net was way too small. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, we're going to do the best we can. I was grabbing the net to go and put his head into it. And I could see like water run down my leader. And I was like, uh-oh. And I saw it run down to a tooth as it was resting. Bing. And he was gone. I'm like, you son of...
It's funny because a lot of my biggest pike have come on
the smallest stuff,
finesse baits.
Yep.
Like a lot of them. Like my biggest pike in the last couple of years came on a Euro Tackle Z cranker. Well, basically a 1-inch crappie crankbait.
That's a tiny bait, dude.
Yep. That was a 38-inch pike. And I landed that on 6-pound test. I mean, unbelievably. I don't know how, but it didn't have his teeth on the line. As long as they don't have the teeth on the line,
that's exactly
you got
what
a
it
good
is.
shot.
Yeah,
but as soon as they touch that with their teeth, it's over.
It's game over. And that's the thing. There is a weird flex about using light line. Like I was at St. Clair this last April, Easter weekend, and I caught a 4-pound smallie on like on this. Well, I was just trying out this BFS combo. I was using the new BF70 Tatula reel, and I was like, let's see what we can do. It was the last cast of the day. Just an absolute giant smallmouth. It's my PB. I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe I got, like, he was pulling drag like crazy. I had to play that fish, but it was worth it. Caleb,
For sure.
I'm a moron. I don't have my charger for my laptop up here. We've been going for a bit, but before we wrap up, I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Let the listeners know about where, they can find your content. If they have questions or anything, how to get in touch with you. And also, if you're working with anybody specifically, it's a great opportunity to shout them out, drop any promo codes or anything like that, and promote yourself a little bit. Go for it.
Sure. Yeah. So as far as where to find me, obviously Instagram, hooked up at hooked up Wisconsin, hooked up WI. These are all hooked up WI. Same on YouTube, hooked up WI on YouTube, at Caleb Wistad there as well. And then Facebook, hooked up Wisconsin LLC. The only reason the LLC is on there is because I got my first page stolen.
Oh, there you go.
So I had to make a new one. And then I do have a website now, hookedupwisconsin.com.
Nice.
So I just started a blog there. I am selling Relevant sunglasses, which is another one of my sponsors. So
Nice.
I'm a dealer for Relevant. So I just sell my most popular ones there. And then also I literally just got done designing 3 hoodies for ice season and a bunch of print on demand merch with Hooked Up Wisconsin logos and stuff that's going to be launching here in a few weeks. So that's all going up on the website soon. And I also sell fishing coaching sessions there on my website. So I've been doing that for a few months now, and those have been going great. Like I've got several clients who've done like 3 or 4 sessions now.
Oh, wow.
And basically I'm just talking fishing and explaining things to them, going over gear, going over a lot of trip planning type stuff, for Canada or whatever.
Yep.
So I'm available. You want to talk to me, book a session and we can chat. That's all on the website. So hookedupwisconsin.com. Yeah. And then as far as sponsors go, like I have so many and they're all great, but one mention is, especially for maybe your audience getting into the bait finesse stuff, Eurotackle is an awesome finesse bait company. I've been working with them. They were the first legit company that I worked with on Instagram, and I've been working with them for probably 6 years now.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know Ben really well. I've fished with Ben, the owner, and he is a crazy cool guy.
That's awesome.
So then Clam Outdoors, obviously, like I mentioned, my buddy and I invented the Clam Predator tip up, which is a rod holding device that does automatic hook setting and just a flag alert device for ice fishing as well. So Clam sells that. I am very integral with Clam this year. I'm going to be promoting Clam and working with them a lot. So if you're into ice fishing, Clam Outdoors is where it's at. I mean,
that's the name. Yeah.
They're the innovators in the ice fishing industry. And St. Croix rods, Lund boats, Rapala. I picked up Rapala as a sponsor this year. And as you've seen, some of those plastics, the Crush City plastics are
amazing.
They're just freaking fish catching baits. Like they just catch fish.
Yeah.
And of course, all the old Rapala classic style jerk baits, X wraps and all that stuff still catches fish too. So, legendary company. I mean, just legendary. So, and there's some smaller companies too. And, just follow my channel. That's the biggest thing. Watch my channel, subscribe to the channel, Hooked Up Wisconsin. You can catch up with all these updates and how to use all this stuff and everything there. And, that pretty much covers it, I would say.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, you guys heard it here. If you want to learn some stuff, you should definitely go subscribe to Hooked Up Wisconsin ASAP. Just do it. Trust me, you'll love it.
I appreciate it,
Caleb. This is really great, man. Like I said, this is going to drop on late Monday night. Just do me a favor and send me a picture of you holding a giant, any species, and we'll use it for the cover artwork.
Sure.
Awesome,
Sounds
dude.
Good.
I love it, man.
I will send you.
Sounds awesome, dude. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. This is fantastic. And Wisconsin is on my list of spots that I have to hit. Like this year, Michigan had me sold after St. Clair, but I really feel like I'm a transplanted Midwest angler. I really do.
Sounds like you are.
Yeah, man, it's right in my wheelhouse. So yeah, and Wisconsin has a ton of water, and I definitely need to get out there and do that. And
there's 600 lakes in my county.
That's nuts, man.
In Washburn County. There's 600 lakes.
My job, what I do is I host game shows. I've been a DJ for like 30 plus years.
Okay.
And I've been doing this for a long time, and I got into hosting game shows a little over a decade ago. And I had a trivia question come by, and everybody says, "Oh, Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes." But as it would turn out, the state that has more lakes than Minnesota is Wisconsin.
Correct.
100%. Yeah, it's a fact. So
it is.
That is awesome.
It's a great place. And like I said, you've got the Great Lakes, you've got Lake Michigan, and you've got Lake Superior, both on two borders. And you've got the Mississippi River on the other side.
And you've got cheese.
And cheese. Oh, and beer.
And cheese and beer. Come on. We'll set something up. You might actually get me on the ice this year. Who knows?
Hey, let me know. Hit me up.
I love it, dude.
I'm out there.
Thanks so much, man, for being part of the show. We'll see you very soon. We'll probably have you on sometime again to check in.
I'd love to.
Awesome. Take care, Caleb. Thank you so much.
You have a good day. See
All
ya.
right. Bye-bye.
Hi there. Welcome to the Live Well, where we crack open a ramp beer and attempt to answer all of your burning questions.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, here we are, Live Well segment, guys. We got some good stuff to kind of jump into here. We got two calls, or not two calls, actually. One of these is actually from the Jigs Heads Patreon live stream, the chat right here. So let's go ahead. We'll dive in with our first one, which is one of the calls to the hotline. Let's go ahead and jump on in.
Hey, it's Eli with a question for the Live Well. With the fall being here and winter coming up, is there any adjustments or modifications to baits that you make specifically for fall or the winter? I know I've heard a lot about like suspend dots, suspend strips, but is there any other ones that you make specifically for fall or winter?
I feel like my answer is going to be just hot garbage to this question.
Yeah, so I guess let me understand the question a little bit better. Do I make modifications to baits themselves?
Yeah, for the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't make modifications to baits themselves. I just do different baits, and mine is just kind of, I use baits. Some baits I don't typically use the rest of the season. Like this is when it starts to get cold, that's when I start breaking out the blade bait, something like that. But I don't modify baits in general. I don't modify baits for the change. What I'll do is I'll just change them. Like, so, the big one being like downsizing. So like I talked about earlier, I'll start to use a smaller jerk bait, and obviously slowing down the pattern. But no, I don't modify any type of baits for the season change. I just change the baits altogether.
That is almost exactly what I was going to say. That is almost exactly what I was going to say. And I understand like the suspend dots that he's talking about there. Like I understand that's one way to modify a jerkbait, like the level at which it suspends. If you need to suspend a little bit deeper, or something like that, or you want it to slow sink, something along those lines. But I mean, I feel like that's some type of tuning that you could utilize year round, really. If you need that jerkbait, if they're suspending in a different area and you're like, oh, it's just not getting down there far enough, then, maybe you could go ahead and do that. For the winter, like the big one is, again, like just that profile size overall, Yeah. That's part of the reason why, I mean, like I throw finesse jigs year round. But like it will definitely be, I will start more likely with a smaller size jig. In that finesse-y category than I would like throwing like a giant monster jig. But that said, like that doesn't mean that the big stuff's not going to get bit either. You know, I think that this is one of those difficult situations where it's like I understand people want to have like a hard and fast rule. They're like, oh, this is what you do, you know?
Of course, yeah.
But like this is where like fishing is one part science and one part art. And those things conflict sometimes, you know? I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is kind of crazy. So yeah, I wish I had more for you. But yeah, overall, I think, I don't think we modify any of our stuff specifically other than just changing out what it is that we're throwing to fit cold water conditions. This is a really good one. You're gonna have some fun with this question. So this live well question came in, and this is also from Eli, but this was in the Patreon, in the chat for the live stream of our Jighead live stream. He says, Bobby, when you are camping, how do you do coffee?
Oh, Eli, you have opened Pandora's box.
Because there are so many ways that I have done coffee. Primarily, when I'm out camping, I will generally use a French press. And the reason is just because it's one pot. It's super consistent all the time. And I use a Stanley French press, but I use the cheaper model that you actually can boil your water in and then add your coffee to, versus the insulated one that's super nice that you can't boil your water in. So I use a French press. I will either go out with ground beans, or I do have a coffee grinder that I'll plug into the 110 AC outlet in the back of my truck and grind my beans fresh because
fancy.
That's just me. And I like the French press because it is super consistent, like pretty much all the time. But you can make coffee a bunch of ways. Let's not forget, instant coffee is infinitely better than it was when I was a child. You know, like there are so much more brands of instant coffee, and the technology's gotten that much better where it's a reasonable option. Boil some water, add some instant coffee, give it a mix, you're good to go. Cowboy coffee is a thing. You're basically just not really straining it. Boil your water, add your beans. Classic is the percolator. I have a percolator and I like it. I'm considering bringing it back because when I'm camping, I will oftentimes, I'm totally stealing this tip from Outdoor Adventures. But you can use that as like a pot to make noodles or pasta in, and then pour it out. Like it'll strain, you're good to go. Pour out that hot water. You're good to go. So it's like, there's a lot that you can definitely do. My only issue with like percolated coffee. Do you like percolated coffee, Joe?
I've only had it maybe once or twice.
Okay. It's a very old school way of making coffee, and I think it's great. The problem is like oftentimes, and this will usually be like the last day that I'm camping, when I'm striking camp, I'll have the coffee going, and that's where like it'll boil, and then the water comes up and then filters through. What ends up happening is it continues to percolate through. So it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And sometimes if you're not using fantastic coffee, it can be, and even then, like if it goes for too long, sometimes you burn the coffee, Yeah. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I use a French press. I think it's just hands down the best. Although I say that about the noodles. I've used my French press for the same thing. I really have. I just put the filter in and then just pour the water out, because it's a screen mesh filter. So I've done the same thing. I don't know. Big coffee guy, big fucking nerd. Joe, what's your plan for when you guys are camping and doing coffee? Or are you just going to continue to DoorDash your coffee?
There's a coffee bar to put our Keurig there.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. What's your go-to Keurig cup?
So, dude, I actually don't use. So, Meg's the Keurig. Like, I think I've mentioned this before. Very, 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 very rarely do I drink hot coffee.
That's right. You're not a hot coffee guy.
I'm an iced coffee guy. Like to the point where, like, if I'm like fiending and I need one, I might like throw a thing in the Keurig and then just put it over ice or something.
Oh, that works. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But no, I say like, dude, I'm not a coffee snob. Like I'll drink pretty much whatever to alleviate getting the lack of caffeine headache.
You know what you might love is, have you ever had like really good, have you ever made your own cold brew?
Oh yeah.
That is.
Yeah. I love doing that. You know why I don't?
Why is that?
I don't as much often anymore.
Once you make
it's
it,
because I
drinks
fucking have 4 kids and don't have enough room in the goddamn refrigerator.
Yeah, that sucks. That, how sad is that? Like the dad fridge in the garage is just going to be like, oh, that's my cold brew. These are my such and such. I keep my, that's fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's brutal, dude. That is fucking brutal. There is one other thing that I mentioned this earlier. We talked about a fish that was submitted in, actually 2 that were submitted in the scavenger hunt last month, and there was a question what they were, and they were fall fish, and they got DQ'd accordingly. So I had a conversation back and forth with the angler, and I mean, again, it was nice that it didn't affect anything. Like he's still placed in the same spot, but he tried to argue the point that they were related, that a fall fish was a type of carp. So I did a little bit of research. And here's basically what it gets into is that fall fish don't fall under the carp family. I'm going to try to pronounce these Latin terms. Somotylus corporalis is a fall fish, and Cyprinidae is a subfamily, or Cyprinidae subfamily Cyprininae. That includes common carp, grass carp, other carp, etc. But it is close. And here's the deal. Here's how it breaks down. Fall fish are a part of the minnow family. It's the same large family that includes carp, shiners, dace, and chubs. However, within that family, fall fish belong to the genus Somotylus, which are creek chubs, not true carp. Carp, on the other hand, belong to the genus Cyprinus. The Cyprinus carpio is the common carp. So they are distant cousins. It's the same big family, but different branches. In short, fall fish, minnow family, not a true carp. More closely related to chubs than carp. With that said, and how this comes into play with the scavenger hunt is like this. A pickerel is not a muskie. You know what I mean? And the only reason we make an exception for an exception for a pickerel or for a muskie and a pike is just because we wanted to keep the total number down, but we could split those. You know, I mean, we absolutely could. The main reason why we don't make an exception with pickerel and pike and muskie is because there can be such a big difference in max length. You get a 25-inch pickerel, that's a trophy pickerel.
Yeah, right.
But
right.
you get a 25-inch pike, it's cute.
Right.
Or a muskie, you could. And that's where the decision was made there. But so that's what it breaks down to. And that's what I had initially thought was like, well, minnow family, fall fish, and I guess the comparison of creek chubs makes a lot more sense, you know, when you look at it that way. But that's kind of, I was like, where can I put this? I'm just going to tuck it real nice in the back of the episode of the live well. I think that's a good spot for it. That's going to do it for this week's show, guys. I hope you guys had a good one. I sure shit had a great one. Joe, what are your thoughts? Are you getting ready for the 300th? You getting psyched?
Oh, of course I am. It's going to be great. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to, see everybody in person that is going to be attending in person, not just through the screen or whatever.
I am really looking forward to it.
It's going to be great.
Speaking of through the screen, we should mention that next week's episode is going to be recorded actually like in the evening, not during morning daytime hours. And it's going to be, we're going to be recording on Friday night, which is going to be awesome because we'll be able to check that box right there. Actually, I also have an interview on deck for that one that I think you guys are looking forward to. I'm recording that tomorrow. And then this should be pretty good. We have all kinds of good stuff. We're starting to get into that season now where folks' schedules loosen up a little bit and they're able to say like, okay, cool, I can put some time aside and record a segment here or there. And I think if things go the way that I'm hoping they do, we're going to have ourselves one hell of a little Rolodex of names for our interview segment. So that's good. Go ahead and tag us in your photos that you're posting on social media. Give us a little bit of love. We will gladly reciprocate and like, share, comment, all that good stuff. If you guys are out there catching fish, things might be slowing down up where we are, but we'd like to at least try to live vicariously through you and your adventures. Why don't we go ahead and we'll put a fork in this one? I think this one is done, and I'm going to go and wrestle with my decision. Do I take the boat out or do I continue editing?
Yep.
Yeah, might have to take a look at the weather app and figure out if it's worthwhile or not. But you guys have a good one. Say goodnight, folks. Like we always say.
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.